Oh my goodness. Good morning, everybody. I am late to the party, as usual. It is so cold and chilly here this morning. I just stayed in my jammies. I didn't jump in the shower. I didn't get a chance to do my hair. I've just kind of been sitting here underneath a big flannel blanket since I got up this morning to let the chickens out, and it's like the morning got away from me. Oh, look, I look like maybe like Mrs. Claus. YouTube ain't paying the bills yet, Marino's Mysteries. That's okay, Michael. I know. Don't you worry about it. Good morning from Maine. Michael over at Marino's Mysteries. Mike. Good morning, Baroque Cowgirl. Raining in Texas. It is raining here. I don't know if, good morning, Matt. I don't know if any of you will be able to hear it, but my wind chimes are just, they're tangled, but they're still blowing. They're swirling. We have such a squall blowing through right now. Very, very windy. My chickens are like blowing all over the yard. And it's raining now. It wasn't raining just a little while ago, but it's raining now, and it's a cold rain. And today, even though it's not terribly cold, we're kind of transitioning, from summer into fall, and we'll be going into winter, but it's kind of like our body hasn't caught up yet. So it's still kind of chilly. I haven't acclimated. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Casey. Have meetings at 10 instead of 9:30. That's okay. I appreciate you stopping in to say hello. Good morning, Denise. Been waiting to hear from you, Denise, for our potato run. You let me know when you're ready and we'll go on a potato run. And Chris is here from E3 Homestead. Farmstead. But yeah, I didn't even have time today to like curl my hair and get all gussied up or anything. This is it. Look at the gray coming in. Ooh, look at that. I need to color my hair. I just haven't decided if I'm going to do it today or later on, because tonight I'm going to be on an interview with Wide Family Farms. With Courtney, and I have to look a little more presentable. Good morning, Kitchen Shenanigans. I know I'm not ready for it to be this cold yet either, but I will enjoy it. I always say when the seasons change, I will thoroughly embrace them and enjoy them because I'm thankful to still be here to enjoy them. I know you'll let me know, Denise. I was just wondering. Because I already told Papa Jim that we'd be running off to buy some taters. And he said, you go buy taters with Denise, do what you need to do. So Denise and I are going to be running off to an actual, I don't know, what would you want to call it, Denise? We're going to go to the potato house. I got my blanket. It's so cold. I got this blanket at a thrift store. This is one of those, what's this material called? It just jumped right out of my brain. Fleece. Got this fleece blanket, and I know got this beautiful fleece blanket for $2 down at our local thrift store the other day. Came home, popped it in the wash, and I've kind of been curling up underneath it any opportunity I get. Kitchen Shenanigans, if you don't mind, remind me your first name, and you will find out I'm terrible with names, but I try. So Blue Farm has popped in this morning. I'm new to them, and they look like they've got a really neat thing going on over at their channel. Rhonda's here. Raining in north central Wisconsin, but not like what you're getting. Been in the 30s. We've woken up every morning to a good frost, so it's getting down below freezing, and we've been trying to get things tidied up and ready for the changes of seasonings. So Baroque says she used to hate winter, but as she's gotten older, she enjoys the cooler weather. And Black's Tropical Homestead is here. Good morning, Sherry. Kitchen says, ever since it has been down in the 40s in the morning and not over 70 during the day, I've been cold to the bone, even with the heat on. I understand. That's how I'm feeling. I'm just kind of chilled and I can't seem to shake it. And then I have neuropathy in my feet, and that's just kind of the side effect from the chemotherapy I was on. So my feet always feel really, 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 really cold. Really cold. Cuddle time on the couch is perfect. Shannon. I will try to remember that, Shannon. It'll take me a few times, but work with me on that. So yeah, I had a late start this morning, but I did get all the chickens out. And I have an update on our chicken sexing video, not sexting, not chickens, turkeys, our turkey sexing video. If you go back and you watch that when we are sexing the turkeys, I do want to say, for the most part, we were right. That did work. However, we do have a little blue slate, little pulp that we had. And before we did our sexting on it, not sexting, our sexing of the turkeys, Papa Jim says, this one's head looks like it might be a boy because his head was just a little bit more refined and square. And sure enough, I've seen that little guy out there. He's gone out into strut now. And so it's like we were wrong. That one was not a girl. That was a boy. And then I have like this proud turkey mama moment today. I was looking out the window, and when I look out the window, they all come running because they think they're getting treats. But that little turkey came up this morning, and he's got the tiniest little beard poking out from his chest. And I was like, oh, you are indeed a boy. You've been puffing up, and now you're sporting a little beard. And I was so proud of him. Is Cha-Cha in the house? Hi, Cha-Cha. And Scott's here from Rambling with the Brooms. Gail's here from Gail's Southern Living. Baroque says she planted broccoli and spinach seeds Monday. Planned on getting Swiss chard and lettuce planted today, but not in the rain. Not in the rain. No. This is where I would like to have a nice little greenhouse so I can do something like that in the greenhouse on these colder days. But I'm not going out today if I can avoid it. I'm just going to stay here underneath my little fleece blanket. I've got my little puppy dog at my side. I know he's cold because he was barking at me to jump up here and snuggle in next to me. They went to the groomers a couple weeks ago, so unfortunately they got all of their fur taken off and now they're cold. It needed to be done. They had so many stickers in them from running around all summer long, and I don't know what's going on in my area. But my dog groomer is booked up for like months and months and months and months. And some people are scheduling their appointments with her 2 years out. It's crazy. I tried getting them into the groomers like in June, and she said, I can't get you until October. And so when I took them in this last couple of weeks, I have the 2 dogs that go into the groomer. I scheduled 6 months out, and I said, I want 3 times a year because I can't handle all of the stickers. Baroque has 2 little wiener dogs. Blankets are their life. Everybody right now is cuddled up on a pillow with a blanket somewhere, and then I've got the little one cuddled up next to me here. So Adventures with Cha-Cha, my Cha-Cha love, says the rain has stopped in Dallas. Rained all day and early morning. Feels cold and fresh today. Yes. I'm glad everybody's doing well this morning. And oh, you have a 4-year-old, Shannon, that is laying with you and singing to your 1-year-old. I miss those days. I'm doing these 30 questions, 30 days from Marino's Mysteries. And I will admit, I've not looked ahead. I don't look ahead because I want it to be an honest response. So I have them on a screenshot. And when I go to record, that's when I read the question. So it's an honest and fresh reaction. So I don't know if there's anything in those questions coming up that would relate to this, but if I could go back and do one thing over in my life, that was my dog. She does that every time we get on here, doesn't she? Or if I record videos, she's constantly making that noise. We just got her some probiotics for her tummy to see if that helps her from making that yakking noise. I don't know what's with her. But if I could go back and do one thing over again, I would definitely spend more time with my babies. And I think I did okay. I mean, I was a stay-at-home mom. I have lots of memories of coming home after church and all of us would just like pile in the bed, and I'd have all my boys cuddled around me, and I'd be nursing the baby, and we'd all fall asleep and take a nap. And then hubby would, go off to play church softball or something. I have those memories. And I have memories of some stories, but not nearly enough. If I could go back, I would read more stories to my babies. I would spend more time cuddling. I would spend less time worrying about what my house looked like. I would have spent a lot more time with my babies. And I don't think I was a terrible mom, but I certainly could have been a much better mom. So if I could fix that, I sure would. Hello, Mennonite Farmhouse, Leanne. You thought your husband was at my house coughing up a loogie. Somebody said they thought Jim was home. No, Jim, thankfully, Jim doesn't make noises like that, or if he does, he doesn't do it in my presence. He'll step outside or something. My porch, my deck that wraps around this huge house, that's his favorite place for odd things like that. And he's even got one favorite spot off the deck where he just like every day, 2, 3, 4 times a day when he's home, I'll see him walk out the front door. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, I gotta pee. He'll go to his favorite spot on the deck. It's like, don't you pee in my hydrangeas. Don't you do it. But he's got his favorite little spot where he pees off the deck. Baroque, I'm glad you don't have that regret. I mean, I really did a lot of things with my kids. But now looking back, I just don't feel like it was enough. I can remember when my mom would visit my second boy, Joshua. He had a favorite story, and it was called The Littlest Carrot. Or was it The Littlest Rabbit? It was The Littlest Rabbit, and he wanted to grow up to be as big as this carrot that he had. And he would always say, read it again, Grandma, read it again. And she would read it to him as many times as he wanted. And I wish I would have taken the time to read stories as many times as they wanted. And who cares about bedtimes? Who cares? You had to stop. I had to stop and make dinner. I had 4 children. I had a husband. I stayed home with my babies. I was happy that, up until my youngest was in kindergarten, I didn't work. I had a few odd jobs, but for the most part, I stayed home with my kids. But, I wish I could just like cuddle up with them now and read them any story they want. They're all like 6 foot something. All 4 boys are all grown and have families of their own. But I miss that. And I try to, she's going to yak again. She's not throwing up. She just makes this awful noise. I'm going to, I try to do special fun things with my grandkids. Like we just did that Smuckers challenge. We did that Smuckers or Suckers. That was fun. And I hope my grandkids will remember that. Hi, Davis family. Corrine. Scott has a good point. He says, Alicia, kids don't come with instructions. We do the best we can. I think we all have some thoughts of doing better, but look back. I know I'm very proud of what we did. They are all respectful folks. That is a wonderful thing. My boys have all done very, very well. They have. We've only had a few run-ins with, it's like one boy, it's like, I just don't know if he's even going to make it. Another one who, classic middle child stuff that he goes through. And then my baby, who we pretty much just let him do anything. And now he just kind of, maybe we'll see him, maybe we won't. He only lives 15 miles away. He showed up here the other day to help my husband with something. And then I went outside and it's like, where's number 4? Oh, he went home. It's like, he didn't come in and say hi to his mom or anything. What's going on there? Oh, yes, I know. It's that hindsight 2020 thing. And at the time, I really felt I was doing what I could. I wanted to make sure that, one thing that I had, I'm going to expound on this a little bit. One thing I had growing up is something happened to my mother. I don't know when, and I don't know why. And I think it all kind of goes back to maybe her first marriage. My mother grew up in a very clean home. When my mother married her first husband, she kept a very clean home. But I think something kind of triggered because her husband used to hide a penny behind the toilet. And if the penny was still there, he knew she didn't clean the bathroom well that day. And he would always kind of like get on her about it. Everything had to be perfect. And she had such high expectations from her first husband. And I remember she had said she had just come home from giving birth to their first child and she was exhausted. And yet he expected a fresh pot of coffee on the stove at all times and fresh baked cookies because if any of his colleagues came over to see the baby, he wanted things a certain way. And then at some point, I think my mom just kind of flipped the script on that when she married the man who raised me, my dad, Carol. And we kind of just turned into a hoarder's paradise. And the place was always a wreck. And I remember how embarrassed I would be when my friends would come over because the sink was always full of dishes. The house was always a mess. Things were always piled up out of place. And as I say that right now, I look at a $4 Christmas tree that I got at the thrift store the other day, prominently displayed in the window, and it's only October. But I remembered I was so embarrassed to have people over. It's just a tractor. They've been going by all week. So when my boys were being raised, I didn't want them to experience that. I wanted to have a clean home. So I did my best to keep the home tidy. And that way they wouldn't be embarrassed when friends came over. And I did that at the expense of the time that I should have been spending with them when they were growing up. But I went to football games and I went to all of the school recitals. So it's not that bad. But I think back to when they were little, wish I could cuddle with them again. Good morning, Tina Ladybug. Welcome. So Baroque Cowgirl, my only grandson is 9. I kept him nearly every day of his life till he started school. I still keep him after school every day till Mama gets home from work. Daddy works out of town. Yep, we've had grandbabies that we had in our home full time, and my current grandbabies I've got. I shouldn't say current. I should say my local grandbabies. My oldest grandbaby is 18. She just turned 18 this year, and she lives in another state. And my second grandbaby is 16, and he lives in another state. But the ones I have here that are close by, 2 of them are just a mile away and 2 of them are about 15 miles away. So I love it when I get my time with them and we try to do special things like nearly kill ourselves choking on Smucker's sandwiches. Scott says we weathered the whole social media boom. I had an elder in the community say in history, we've had a tough job and our kids were forced to grow up fast. That's true. You know, there's often times that my oldest son says, man, I miss the 80s and the 90s when we didn't have all of this social media stuff. And somebody asked the other day, what did we do before we had all of these lives? It's like, I don't know. We certainly didn't sit around and twiddle our thumbs, but, you know, I can remember playing games with my kids and always going over for coffee with the neighbors instead of saying something on social media. You actually went out and you met your neighbors and had coffee with them and did things with them. So, I'm appreciative of the fact that we have social media because I am so remote now and I have no neighbors other than my children, really. I mean, my nearest neighbor that I can go visit is probably about 8 miles away, but I have the chance to go visit with her every once in a while. And sometimes Denise and I get together. She's about 8 or 10 miles away. So I'm thankful for that, but I really am. I'm thankful for the social media part of it too. Call and go visit. Yep. I hear you. The last year and a half has been difficult to go visit, though. I have visited the one neighbor a couple times, but with everything going on, I kind of just stay home. Scott says, I miss running in the bush, fishing, and everyday hockey on the pond. Ooh. I know I've missed a few things here. Yours is on the same property and can walk or ride by the house. You know, one thing we're thinking of doing since we're on 5 acres here, and the boys have been talking about it, and I tell them, go for it. I don't care. They're talking about putting little homesteads up here on our 5 acres and all of us just living here in this little semi-dysfunctional compound. But I'll get to see my grandbabies more. But Papa Jim won't be peeing off the porch anymore. Good morning, Daz. Welcome to the live. I'm glad you're here for coffee chat. So many wonderful names and people here that I recognize. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate it. throughout the week, I think of things that I want to talk about, and then I don't write them down and I forget about them. Hello, Lisa Kolovi. Shannon says, I live in the middle of town and have owned this house for 5 years. I have only spoken to one neighbor a few times, but this is a slight language barrier. Yeah, language barriers they can throw in there. And Baroque, her mother-in-law lives on the same property. That's wonderful. You've got the whole little family unit there. That's awesome. That is awesome. So, somehow I was talking to somebody. Oh, I know what it was. Erin up in Canada over at Bramble Hill. They don't have running water right now, and it is cold, and she's been getting over a certain sickness. And so she's really been dependent upon having really nice warm baths and showers to help her with the body aches that she's been experiencing. They have no water. They have no running water right now. So yesterday she had to run down to the creek and wash her hair in the creek. And she was reporting back to us about just how cold that water was on her head. She didn't really enjoy, sometimes that cool water is so refreshing after you've had a fever or something. And it reminded me of this time that we had gone snorkeling. I'm sorry. I know it's because I put some creamer in here and I'm kind of, anyways, we had gone snorkeling off of this little island in California, Catalina Island. We had gone to Catalina Island for about a week. We renewed our vows and we had a lot of fun things planned. And we had gone snorkeling. Well, when we had gone snorkeling, they had already used up all of their usual, like their scuba suits that have the long sleeves and all the way down to your ankles to keep you, insulated and warm. But they had spring suits, which have short sleeves and then just go to your mid-thigh. And, but we donned those anyways. I looked like like a killer whale or something. But we jumped in the water and it was like a shock to the system. It was so cold. The water was 58 degrees. And even with those suits on, we were just like, oh my gosh, the shock. And I didn't share with Erin in a chat that we were in the other day because I wanted to share this here. I remember jumping in and just instantly having that cold shock, and the guides for our scuba thing yelling at us, pee in the wetsuit, pee in the wetsuit. I'm like, I'm not going to pee in my wetsuit. And they said, it'll warm you up. Just pee in the wetsuit. And like, there's people all around us. I think there were probably, 6 or 8 people on that tour. And all of a sudden, there's like people around. I'm like holding out. I was like, I'm not peeing my wetsuit. And you look at the person like 3 people over and they're like, oh. It's like, that feels so good. And so you give in. After a while, you give in. So Papa Jim are like, oh, yeah, that does warm you up. That feels good. So we all peed in our wetsuits. It's like, I peed in the pool. Oh, so that warmth, it kind of took that initial shock off. And of course, it all washed away because, the water's getting all in there and everything. But I was comfortable then from that point, like from the neck down, like while you're floating around in the ocean. But as soon as you'd put your head down to snorkel, it felt like a million needles just piercing the top of your head. That 58-degree water was so cold. And it actually gave me a headache. And that was really an odd experience because I had a headache. I had all of this stabbing in my brain. And then you've got the floating of the water and the sea kelp kind of doing this. It made me a little nauseated. But that was a really neat experience, but it was cold. And we were in these seabed or these sea kelp beds, we kind of drifted, which worried me because I thought if I get tangled in the sea kelp, I'm going to drown. But we were in these sea kelp beds and hubby was looking down with his goggles and he spotted something and he fixated on it. And then up through the kelp beds, this scuba diver came up and he had one of those 3-prong little hunting forks, that they shoot. It just freaked him out. But he comes up and he gets right in Jim's face and he waves and then he dives back down to go off and go fishing. Yes, I don't recommend doing that in bed to keep warm if you have a partner. Not that I would know or anything. I think we've all been there, Daz. We've all been there. Not with a partner. Oh my gosh, sleepovers when you're a kid, it's the worst thing. I've had it happen. Nothing worse than going to a new friend's house and then actually who's done this? I want to see some thumbs up down here. Who's done this? Who has ever dreamed that they've dreamt? Who's ever dreamed that you've gotten up in the middle of the night and you've gone into the bathroom and then you think you're on the toilet, but you're still asleep and you pee? So embarrassing. That's happened to me a few times, and it's happened even as an adult. I don't know why that happens. This is like Confessions of Country Mama hour. Now I'm to the point where in my dream, I tell myself, Alicia, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. Don't do it. Don't do it, girl. You're dreaming. You need to wake up. And in my dream, I will pinch myself. I will do everything I can to make sure that I am awake and I am quite literally on the toilet. And I will convince myself I'm on top of this. And then I let loose. It's like, oh crap, I'm still in bed. Oh, Shannon, when you were sleeping next to a new boyfriend. Oh, mortifying, mortifying. I think the worst time it happened to me was like I was 8. And 8? Yeah, I was about 8. And I had gone to a new friend's house for a sleepover, and I did that. And her mother was like, what's wrong with her? I mean, her mother was just incensed that I had done that. But what's bad is then you got to get up in the morning and get on the bus, like if you stay the weekend, you got to get on the bus and ride back with them. And of course, you've showered and you've got clean clothes on, but everybody on the bus knows now. I woke up one night. I thought it was raining. My son was in the bathroom peeing in the trash can. Oh, goodness. Oh, Cha-Cha's going to tell on James. He peed in the closet on all of my, and I see where she corrected all of her heels. I was like, James, get up. Oh, he peed all over your shoes. You had to throw away some of your shoes. Chris says I peed in my toy box at my grandparents' house once and in my friend's closet because I thought it was the bathroom. Leanne says my husband will not even let me fart in bed. Well, let's not talk about farting in bed because I've been the victim of more than one Dutch oven, let me tell you. I don't remember this. I mean, I have a vague picture in my head, and I don't know if it's because my mother told me this story so many times, and of course she told everybody else too. But when I was, how old was I? I was 8, 7 going on 8, and we lived at a camp. We lived at this camp up in the mountains, and it was a camp for the Boys Club of Palm Springs, but we had different campers throughout the year. It wasn't always the Boys Club. But my mother was the camp nurse and my dad was the camp caretaker. He took care of all of the maintenance. And we lived in this tiny little 1-bedroom house. So my mom and dad had the bedroom, and my sister and I had bunk beds in the living room. And one night, I don't know what my mother was doing up late, but she was in the kitchen with the camp director's wife. They were having coffee and chit-chatting about something. And my mother says, I walked into the kitchen, and she said I was wide awake, but obviously I was sleepwalking. At least this time I got out of bed. She said, I just walked right by them, and I opened the oven door. I pulled down the oven door, dropped trowel, and sat on the oven door and just peed all over the place and didn't even bat an eye. I did that and got up and walked right back towards my bed. And my mother and this woman are in the kitchen going, what is going on here? They said they were talking to me, but I just didn't respond. I just did my thing and went back to bed. But in the oven, I don't know that anybody else can say they've peed in an oven, but I felt bad because then my mom had to clean the oven. Could you imagine if I would have done that and she not known that and then put a roast in the oven? It would have been bad. It would have been bad. Laura, you've never experienced it. You consider yourself fortunate. Cha-cha, you would blow up. Oh my goodness. Laura says, where are you guys? Oh my goodness. Scrolling back down and getting caught up after my little story about peeing in the oven. See, I don't even have to write things down. Sometimes things they just come on their own here. Let's not tell James I threw him under a huge bus. Well, we won't talk about it because he's not going to be in our quickie. When we've got you scheduled for a quickie, James won't be there. Denise says my sister did in her dresser drawer when she was young. I think anything that you can... Stop. You know, they bark now just because a truck rolls down the road. But where were they the day that the florist showed up and I was sitting here, not a stitch of clothing on? And the delivery guy for the flowers are knocking on the door and I'm just sitting here air drying. Shannon says a few nights ago, my husband had a fan blowing on him and he farted and it blew the stench right in my face and it woke me up from a deep dead sleep. I hate that angle. If you have had something that has just not agreed with you, hubby, if you've gone out with your buddies to, the local snack shack for lunch while you're at work and you've eaten something atrocious, don't come home and have that fan pointing my way. Put it on the other side of the room, blow it the opposite direction. I don't want it. The good thing is I do sleep with a CPAP machine on. So a lot of the times that's filtered out and I don't have to endure that. Oh. If I told my wife that, I'd get beat, Scott says. Oh, Chris says that happens when you have too much whiskey. Cha-cha. You fart on James daily? Ladies don't fart. We fluff. Just fluff. Oh, my goodness. Hey, Mo Bang for your bucks. How are you doing? I forgot your name already. It's right here. I want to see it. Mennonite Farmhouse Land says, I doubt I would be married if I did that. I used to have pancakes. I don't know why I don't. Oh, this is turning into quite the topic this morning. Oh, good morning, Lynette. You've been peed on? This sounds like a conversation for a country mama quickie because we had quite the country mama quickie on Monday evening when we had the Green Acre in. If you haven't seen that and you want to laugh your butt off, go watch that. One of the people in the chat that night, Casey from Ormsby Farm, he said, oh my God, he was just clutching his pearls and laughing hysterically. Oh my God. It was such a good time. Oh, yeah, this conversation escalated quickly. I mean, it just started with me peeing in a wetsuit. I don't know. Chris admits that he's almost done more than peeing in a friend's oven after drinking too much alcohol. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we went out drinking one time with a friend and I can't drink White Russians anymore. Just the thought of a White Russian, it just makes everything just stop right here. Because I had way too much White Russians. We had White Russians, Jaeger bombs. So for those of you who imbibe, listen to this combination and you'll understand. We started out with a 32-ounce cup of White Russians each. Then we made it to like the first of 2 or 3 bars and we had Jaeger bombs. And then we had fuzzy navels. And then we had slippery nipples. And then more Jaeger bombs. And I mean, the world was getting pretty spinny. And I remember telling our group that we were with, I don't know, there were 7 or 8 of us. I remember saying, I'll be right back. I got to go pee. And so I went into the bathroom. I sat down on the toilet And it was just, they've got this music playing and it's so nice to just sit. And I'm actually quite literally leaning up against the wall. I'm just like this. And I start to tinkle, and the sound of the tinkle hitting the water just made me giggle. And so I'm sitting there giggling. Oh, and I start singing because it was a good song. I don't remember what it was, but I'm just singing as I'm sitting there leaning up against the wall. And about a half an hour later, somebody's knocking on the door. It's one of my friends. You okay in there? It's like I'd been gone for a half an hour. I completely fell asleep. I was out. I was just leaning up against the wall. I'm just sleeping. Of course, then by then my legs were like asleep too. So I had such a terrible time. But oh man, I'm just glad I didn't walk back into the kitchen there at the bar and pee in their oven. I caught my lovely after a night out with friends. She went to the spare room instead of the bathroom. I caught her before it was too late. Oh, Scott, you're telling tall tales about your wife. She's going to get you. So Leanne over at Mennonite Farm, she says she has a funny story. My first place I rented was a former fraternity house. Oh no. And somehow I found a drunk college boy came into my room and peed on my floor and crawled in my bed. I was downstairs. He was just going home. He was just going back to where he used to be. I thought I was right in front of the toilet and started peeing. The wet feeling game, and I woke up in bed. Yes, Tim is your name. Thank you, Mofo. Mo bang for your bucks. Talking about standing in front of the toilet, I always tried to teach my boys proper toilet etiquette. Okay. And it's always, when you go into a bathroom, you lift the lid in the seat. That was step one. After you pee, you take 2 or 3 squares of toilet paper and you wipe the rim. That was step 2. And then you put the seat and the lid down and flush. And that was step 3. And of course, then you go wash your hands. And I would always say to my boys, did you do your 3 steps? Because I had taught my first son, explicitly, this is what you do. And then my second son. And then now your hands are full because now boy number 3 comes. And then you've got boy number 4. And you've got boy number 4 as a baby. And then you've got the toddler who's being potty trained. And so I would go through the 3 steps, but I was kind of preoccupied. I had never really made sure that boy number 3 did his 3 steps. And it wasn't until we had, I don't know what he was doing at home, because I think he was doing it right at home, but we had gone out somewhere one day and we were at a Walmart, people of Walmart. And I had the baby and I went into the ladies' room with my number 3 son and I had stuff in the cart and I just kind of opened the door. I said, go on in there and I'll stand right here. And when he came out, I said, did you do your 3 steps? And he said, yes. Well, it wasn't long after that I heard somebody going, oh my God. I thought, wow, what's our problem? Well, it wasn't until later that I'd actually gone in with him one time. And I said, make sure you do your 3 steps. That kid would get right up to the toilet and then takes 3 steps backwards. 1 step, 2 step, 3 steps, and then just let it fly. That was it. He was peeing all over the place whenever we go somewhere and telling me, yeah, I did my 3 steps. Little stinker. Scott says my wife said her best investment was her CPAP because she doesn't smell him. Oh, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part, I'm glad I've got a CPAP. Because, Papa Jim, he loves his weird stuff that he likes to eat. Abundant Acres. I log on and the conversation is about farting. Well, we've got farting covered. We've got peeing in trash cans and in closets covered. Hedgehog, I need to hook you up with a quickie. I do. Did we email back and forth, Laura, about that? I'll work on that later today. We'll get you on the calendar. That was good last night. You like that, Denise? Did you like the quickie with was that last night? I don't know. Did you like the quickie that I had with for those of you who are new to the channel and new to the live? When I say that I'm going to schedule somebody for a Country Mama Quickie. That is an interview that I do on Monday nights. And it's just kind of, I call it a quickie because it's a rapid fire. I've got all of my little questions here in a bowl, and it's just rapid fire. It's not your traditional sit down interview, where's your farm? How long have you been farming? What's in the garden this year? It is rapid fire about just random stuff. And so I call it my Country Mama Quickies, and it's just a 10-minute quick interview, and then we open up the panel for discussion, and it's hysterical. Okay, let's see. Blue Farm, which I don't know your name yet. Best feeling is cuddling up with my husband in the morning and letting one rip. Oh my goodness. Oh. Somebody said their first drink was a White Russian. That's Leanne, a White Russian on her 21st birthday. They're delicious. I love White Russians, but I'd had so much. And so let me finish. I was so sick after they got me off the toilet and out of there, because then the room was just spinning. I was gone, and I don't imbibe very often. I was having babies from early on up until 25. So I missed the whole drinking scene and the college scene. And, I made up for it a little bit later by just trying some of these drinks. And I don't do well with drinks. If I have one drink, I'm fine. If I have two drinks, I'm feeling pretty good. If I have three drinks, you will find me passed out with my face in my chili at dinner. So hubby tells me two is my limit. Oh, Scott, he likes to finish with sex on the beach. That is a good drink. I've had one of those before. Those are good. Yep, you've done that, Shannon, when you were at a friend's band. In unlimited drinks, that'll do it. Good morning, Chrissy. Thank you, Daz, for modding. I appreciate that. What I would really love for you to do, Daz, is yes, drop as you can. Otherwise, just enjoy the conversation. But keep an eye out for Scott's friend. I'm really worried about him popping in here, and we'll have to really keep an eye on him. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but we'll talk about it if we have to. Yes, everybody, congrats for Daz on hitting 1,000 subscribers. So awesome. He did do his 3 steps. I'm way behind on the chat. Good morning, Betty Boo. Dana, good morning. The worst thing about when you're potty training little boys is they do get right up to the toilet and then the seat falls. Oh, man. We've had some bruised winkies as the kids were growing up. Not a good thing. Not a good thing. Cha-Cha says, I posted my quickie on Instagram and people thought it was about me singing. I was like, no, people are congratulating. Congratulations on your quickie. Yeah, I told your husband the other day he wasn't invited to our quickie. It was just going to be you and me, girl. You and me. Oh, Chrissy, you've got to catch a Country Mama quickie. Go back to Monday's quickie and watch Michael and Sarah from the Green Acre. I promise you, you are going to laugh. Last question of the entire interview is the clincher. Literally. For those who've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And it is the clincher. Oh, Sandy loves White Russians. Ooh. Porch crawlers. I don't know if I've had a porch crawler. Shannon, you're a lot for some people. Oh, you're in the right place then. I am too. I'm a lot for a lot of people. And I'm very out there. I'm very social. I'm a social butterfly. I love doing things to, I don't want to say trip people up, but get them going, what in the world is going on with this girl? And then I moved to Iowa where everything is pretty subdued. And my sister told me when we moved out here, she goes, I don't know that people are going to get your sense of humor. So tread lightly. And I remember the first kind of social outing that I went to when we moved out here. A neighbor a couple of streets down when we lived in this little town before we bought the farm a neighbor was having a barn quilt painting class. And, I love to paint barn quilts. So I'd gone to this barn quilt class. And the ladies are talking, and I think they were talking about like some kind of rodent or something in the ditch that was all stiff because it was dead, raccoon or something. And I said, oh, I found my husband like that one time. And they're like, what? And I said, yeah. I said, he'd been complaining for a long, long time about his neck being stiff. And we didn't know what was wrong, but his neck was stiff for days. And I'm going on and on about my husband with this stiff neck. And I said, and we finally found out it was because he choked on his Viagra. And they all just looked at me like, oh my God, what did she just say? And nobody laughed. I mean, it's a funny joke when you tell somebody, oh, I got such a stiff neck, I choked on my Viagra. Wrench Scott. Let me see if I can go over real quick. I'm going over to my channel so I can see if I can go into the chat there. Let me close out what I was watching earlier. I'm going to open the coffee chat. So I can see if I can go into the chat there. I'm going to pause it. Let me see if I can give Scott a blue wrench here. I'm not sure. I don't remember how to do it. Hang on. Add moderator. Okay, Scott, you should be a moderator now, so you can keep an eye in case our friend shows up. And I'm going to keep this tab open. If somebody else wants to be a moderator, let me know, and I'll add you. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it, but I've just tossed Scott a wrench. So, yeah, I'm a little bit sometimes for this community, and I can remember my neighbor down the street, Karen, the first time I met her, she was having this farm crawl where people go visit other people's farms. And she had an apple bobbing contest. And my sister, she just stands back. Everybody stand back. I'm like, let me at it. Let me at it. And I full face down into this old metal tub. And I'm getting apples. And I'm excited because it was a hot day. And I'm just wet. I've got an apple sticking out of my mouth, and she's got a picture of me, all celebratory that I've got this apple. And I said, this is a really neat little metal thing here. And she goes, yeah, that was my dad's bathtub. So it's like I'm face first in some kid's bathtub when he was little. Yes, Chrissy. Yes. Laura says I get really giggly when I drink, so I don't get up and pee in the bed. I just peed my pants because I'm laughing so hard. I have one friend, and if she chimes in here, she'll just hate me for this, but she got so drunk one time, and she literally just like fell down on the sidewalk in front of somebody's house and just unconscious. I mean, she was out and she peed, and they've got pictures of her with just pee running down the sidewalk. Oh my goodness. So funny. Margaritaville was not nice to me. Got back on the ship and it was bad. Can't drink margaritas anymore. I've been to one Margaritaville in Jamaica, and that was right before we got on the plane. And it helped me get on the plane and not feel so bad about leaving Jamaica. But when we were in Jamaica, and it was a 2-hour drive to get to this resort that we were staying at, and it was, it was hot and humid. And we get there, and they were like, can we get you a drink while you're getting checked in? And we're like, yes. And we're expecting like a punch or an iced tea or something tropical with a fun umbrella, or even a Diet Coke or something. Well, they brought us rum punch. And that started it right there. It was a 7-day imbibe-a-thon because we drank so much the first day because it was free. I mean, everything was included in the price. And you would just walk up to a bar and you would point at what you wanted to drink, and they would make it for you. And we woke up the next morning and we went to breakfast, and we were standing at this omelet bar, and we're like this. We're just like this. It's like, oh, I don't even know if I can eat. And somebody asked us if we were feeling okay. We're like, yeah, we just, we had too much drink yesterday. And they said, you need a little bit of the hair of the dog that bit you, which we had never heard that term before. Because remember, we weren't big drinkers. And we were like, what? And they're like, yeah, whatever you had, go drink some and you'll feel better. And we're like, you're crazy. You're stupid. We're already sick. Why would we drink more? But we went over to the bar and we got some rum punch and we drank it. And boy, we just ran for the rest of the day. And we were drinking for 7 days straight. So much fun. Oh my goodness. What about boy number 4? Does he do his 4 steps? Yeah, he does. He's pretty good about it. I will admit, though, as the only female in the house, there's been more than one time where I do wake up and make it into the bathroom and then I fall in the toilet because somebody hasn't put the seat down and I'm too tired to notice it. And then you hear me screaming and ranting about they better do that step. Hello, Kay, and I don't know how to pronounce your name. I've been listening in, but I'm leaving for some of the laughs here. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm glad you were able to visit us. I hope you can come back. Lynette says, I had my son potty trained by the time he could walk. The seat came down on him and back to the diapers. Yeah. I've had the seat flop down on the boys a few times. And there was an important thing I learned with my first boy is I wanted him out of diapers. I wanted him potty trained. But, if I just waited, if I waited until they were truly ready, it was so much easier. You'll catch something during my quickies. Woo, and they don't make penicillin for that. A laughing fit, yes. Oh, yes. Scott, you got to bring his name up, don't you? Oh, Chris, let me add you real quick. Let me add you as a mod, buddy. I got to find you in my chat on the other page here. Because, yes, that's kind of been one of my biggest, I don't want to say fear. I don't want to use that and give somebody power. It's been one of my concerns is that I'll be in here and our friend will show up and I won't have anybody to help me curtail. And as you know, as long as everybody's polite and hang on, I got to find you in the chat over here, E3. Sorry, everybody. All right, Chris, you're in. Thank you so much. Well, goodness, Harley, you sneezed. Oh, now you're going to cough. My little dog, he's so blind. He's going to yak. I got you. Yeah, there's nothing worse. There really is nothing worse than going in the middle of the night and somebody hasn't put the seat down and you fall all the way in. Now, it hasn't happened in a long time. Papa Jim's pretty good about it. But now I don't think I'd actually fall all the way in. I've got enough girth that I won't topple. Hey, Yossi, welcome. Welcome. All right, so I've shared a couple of stories. Gail, I will go back and mod you absolutely. Vision Acres, I'm glad you're here. You got a meeting, that's okay. No big deal. I appreciate you showing up, but I don't ever want anybody to feel that they have to apologize if they've got other priorities. I mean, my goodness, this is in the middle of the day and I understand it. Oh, goodness, Leanne. Yeah, with this guy, I wouldn't make that kind of an offer. He's quite interesting and a handful. And I know that Scott's been very good at keeping him on the straight and narrow. Your husband doesn't do that, Gail. That's good. Papa Jim doesn't either. Papa Jim's pretty good. But then again, Papa Jim pees off the porch. I had to tell him earlier on in the gardening season, it's like, I just planted zucchini here. Don't pee in my zucchini. Hey, Fairy Dust. How are you doing? Yay, you're here. We've got a really great group this morning. And I didn't even put any makeup on or do my hair. You guys are awesome. Thank you. All right, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the link out because I've been chatting for a while, but I think it's more fun when I bring friends up. I've got plenty of people here now, so I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up and chat. Simple rules. Just make sure that you don't have anything noisy in the background like yakking dogs. or yapping dogs, and little kids playing. Sometimes for some reason it just picks up on the microphone so much, and then everybody in the chat is like, ah, but I don't hear it as easily. Oh, good, Biddy Boo. Dana, I'm glad that Cam had a good night last night. We've been keeping him in our prayers. You would join Chrissy if customers went and walk in. That's okay. Laura, I will go back and I will do that. Thank you. So, Blue Farm, you rolled out of bed and started watching your live. It's early. What time zone are you in? I can't remember your name if you shared it. Yeah, we've all been called worse things, haven't we, Daz? Fantails is my nickname. I like Fantails. That's a good nickname. But if anybody wants to come up, we'll chit chat for a little while and just see what's going on. Okay, got you. So yeah, it is early there. That's one reason why I started at 10, because if I actually started it when I woke up and had my first cup of coffee, you guys out there would be, hours away from waking up still. I'm central, so I'm 2 hours ahead of you. So I didn't want to start it at 8 and have some of my friends, still be 6 o'clock in the morning and not be able to join in. If you weren't dealing with an over-cranky 1-year-old, you jump on, but nobody wants to hear a pterodactyl. It's true. We've had a pterodactyl on here once before, and I prefer Harvey. The pterodactyl noise is, and it's not that I don't love kids. I mean, my goodness, I've got kids and grandkids, and I love kids. I worked at a school for forever, but when it's right at the microphone and it picks up and everybody's like, it does. Hey, we've got Laura from Hedgehog coming up.
Hello.
Hi, Laura. Good morning.
Good morning. I haven't done anything to myself too. Sorry, folks.
Well, look, we both got our morning hair and glasses and no makeup, and we're all just doing good.
Yep.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. Other than this hairball, I got a hairball.
Oh, that's not. So I liked your Columbine drive. That was awesome.
Oh, wasn't that fun? Oh, I had so much fun up there. I could have stayed up there all day. I mean, I took 2 big runs in that combine all around those huge fields. And he said I could ride all day if I wanted to, but I did have the lady that drove me out there, and she was like standing by her truck. It's like, all right, I guess that's enough.
Yeah.
And I only that video is 11 minutes long, but I took so much footage, I really had to pare it down. But he told me so many interesting things about how the GPS, that whole thing just like runs off of GPS.
Yeah.
And he showed me one screen where it had little dots, numbered dots all over the place. And it's like, that's every worker that's out there. They have trackers on them so they know where every person is in case there's an incident.
Wow.
Really, really great.
That is very
Daz is going to be off, but he's going to be lurking. Good night, Daz. Get some rest. I appreciate you being here.
Good night, Daz. He's so sweet.
Dana has a cat being a pain, so she would rub on everything. That's how I end up with hairballs. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the chat. I'll post the link again. Laura and I are going to have a little chit chat, but I'll share more. There's room for more. Yeah. Laura, are you still in your jammies like me, or did you manage to get dressed this morning?
I got dressed because I have to get the kid on the bus,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do that in their jammies, but
I'm guilty. There were times I did it.
Yeah. But then all the neighbors see me too, so.
Leanne says she can't believe that man was 87 years old.
Yeah.
And her neighbor ran their combine until he was 86, until he passed. That man, I'm telling you, that man was all over that place. You would never guess he was 87. He wanted to take me. I cut it out. But he wanted to take me up on those tall ladders.
Wow.
And walk the catwalks. He goes, we'll do it right now. He goes, and we have things that have lifts that will do other things too and take you all around.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew better. 20 years ago, maybe I would have ventured climbing up that high, but not now, not with my sense of balance being off ever since having chemo. And I'm obviously overweight, and and I'm just not sure-footed with the neuropathy in my feet. And it's like, no, I
Right.
know my limits. But
Right.
when we were, when I got dropped, he came out with us when they dropped me off out in the fields to get up in the combine. And he left, and I was there with the lady who organized and orchestrated this whole thing for me. I don't even know her. Everybody who dealt with me that day, they were like, well, how do you know Betty? And it's like, I don't. I mean, I put a thing out on Facebook to any of my local friends if anybody could help me take care of this bucket list item so I could ride in a combine. And it went through some channels, and I didn't even know this lady. But while we're standing there waiting for the combine to show up, I said, I'm so excited. I said, but my husband's really concerned I'm not going to be able to actually get up in the combine
Right.
because you have to climb a ladder to get up to a
Mhm.
platform and then get in there. It's 11.5 feet up off the ground. And I've been having issues with finishing my barn quilt because some of the places are 10 feet high and
Mhm.
I'm not stable up on that ladder. Hi, Farman HVAC. Welcome.
Hi, HVAC.
So I told her, I said, but I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And she goes, oh, I think you'll be fine. So I get my hands up on the railing and I get my foot on that first step and I pull myself up.
Mhm.
And I'm just getting ready to put my foot on the second step and I feel this.
Ah!
That woman put her hand like right on my left butt cheek and she's shoving me up the ladder. It's like I didn't need it.
Right.
But if I turned around to tell her,
Right.
I don't need your hand on my butt, I'm afraid then I would lose my balance.
Mhm.
She followed me up that ladder with one hand. She's older than I am. She had one hand on one rail and her other hand on my butt, and she's like shoving me all the way up that
Oh,
ladder until I got to the
she
top.
really wanted to help. How
She
sweet.
did. She was concerned. I was like, thank you.
Oh,
A little awkward. Don't know you.
thank you so much.
It's not the first time it's happened.
Right.
I've shared with you guys before about skinny dipping in Jamaica. When we were in Jamaica, we took this catamaran ride to the very tip of the island where there's real pirate caves.
Mhm.
And so they said, go ahead and jump off and swim over. You can go in the pirate caves. And I did. We jumped off and we're swimming and it's way down deep, but the water's so clear, the rocks look like they're right there, and a lot of us didn't want to jump off.
Right.
But people were jumping off, so we jumped in there and we're swimming. And I look down below and I see something moving and I panic because I instantly think it's a shark. And I panic and it's like I told Jim, I said, there's something below me, there's something below me. And it gets closer and closer and closer. And then up comes this man who worked on the boat, this Jamaican man. And he's just all smiling. He's like missing his front tooth and he's smiling and he hands me a shell. He dove down and he brought me back up this little shell. And I was like, oh, thank
Aw.
you. And I'm not the strongest swimmer and we were quite a ways away. And so I'm kind of like doggy paddling. And he's like, here, take my hand. We'll swim. Okay. So I grab this Jamaican man's hand and we're swimming. And then he like links his arm with my elbow. We're like linked elbows and we're
Mhm.
kind of doggy paddling. And then his arm goes around my torso and he's one arm swimming it and he's pulling me into shore. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little, he's like right up against me and I
Yeah.
have no clothes on. Skinny
Wow.
dipping.
Yeah.
And we go in and we finally make it to the caves and, the water's rushing into the caves. So it's unstable. And then they have these steps. You can go up on these platforms and that's where the pirates would put their booty and then carry it on up out these steps that went up right through the top to the
Wow.
upside. And so I'm getting ready to go up these steps and there's the hands, both hands on my butt, trying to shove me up those steps. And I'm like, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. No, I'll help you. I'll help you. I'll help you.
Don't let that hand slip.
Yeah. Or we'll have
Oh
another
my
shower
goodness.
instance like Michael did over there at the Green Acre. Did you see that one?
No, I gotta watch that.
You've got to watch it. Good night, Daz. Thank you so much.
I will. I'll go back. I went back and watched the other one with Yogi and so
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna
Okay.
get something to hold my tablet.
So Chris says, yeah, it's always strange when a stranger touches you slightly inappropriate. Yeah. It was just I wasn't expecting. If she would have said, I'm going to help you out, is that okay? I could have then declined or I could have said, yeah, it's fine. I mean, having 4 babies, you've had all kinds of people touch you. But it was unexpected. Hey there, Celtic Roots. You should be out working in the wind and the rain, but I have no motivation. Who has motivation to work in the wind and the rain? I do not. You know what? He liked what he saw. And I will tell you, there was another instance while we were down there in Jamaica, and they've got these really neat walking trails where we were staying. And like the bamboo has grown up and over. And so it's like this little tunnel. And we were walking through this tunnel clothed. And we passed by one of the workers, and he said good evening and everything. We were saying hello, and we were being polite and friendly. And he said to my husband, he just nodded at my husband with this knowing nod. He goes, you know, in Jamaica, we like our women thick.
Oh.
And my husband grabbed me and he goes, yeah, well, you know, in America, we like them thick too. And this one's mine. But then he like turned around and he followed us for a while. It was a little uncomfortable. But yeah, in Jamaica at this resort, plenty of hard bodies, plenty of women that, you know, fit that Barbie doll type. Right. But boy, the thick women, they like their thick women. Yeah. And I had a few suitors. I had a few suitors that Jim had to say no. And I know looking at me here today, you wouldn't think it, but oh, we had so much fun. We had so much fun down there. I've got so many stories. Jamaica man. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was good. And we loved it so much while we were down there. Hubby had asked one of the people that worked there, it's like, you know, what do we do? You know, what can we do to see about relocating down here and living here? He goes, I'm a mechanic, and I'm sure you guys could use a trained mechanic, you know, around here. And the guy said, man, respect, man, but you're the wrong color. Oh yeah, that's what he told us. He says you're the wrong color. I was like, okay, well, make me another drink. I'll drink it away. Yeah. But while we were down there, when we got done snorkeling, I went to go get back. Here's another ladder story. Where was that man to push my butt when I was trying to get up on the ladder? I climbed up on the ladder to get back in the catamaran, and my foot slipped. Yeah. And it slipped between the rungs, which means the whole top of my shin hit the top rung. Mm-hmm. And I had a bruise this long all up the front of my leg. It was swollen. It was bruised. It was awful. It was very painful. Then I didn't know how I was even going to get back up into the boat. But the following day, we were going to walk into town and go to the flea market because we'd heard great things about this flea market. And so we got our money, and I'm limping, and we leave the resort, which we shouldn't have done. Yossi's trying to come on, but I think he's having connectivity problems. We leave the resort, and there's a couple guys walking the opposite direction, and we pass them, and they say good morning. We say good morning, and then they flip on us, and they start following us. Oh. And we noticed, okay, now they're following us, and it was probably maybe like a quarter of a mile to the thing. And one picked up pace, and as he walked past us, he said hello again, and then he got in front of us and he slowed down. So now we're sandwiched between these two guys. I'm going to bring Yossi up. He finally got connected.
Hi.
Hi, Yossi.
Let me find the right format for us.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather still. So I need bed.
That's okay. I'm in my jammies. It's all good.
You relax.
It's a slumber party.
Yeah, it's 7 p.m. here.
Let's see, what have I missed? Somebody, 4 and 5-year-old boys, 6 dogs, and your house is always trash. I hear you. Celtic Roots, I was an officer in New Jersey for a number of years. While standing in line after completing the academy, I was groped by my female officer while standing in line to get my diploma, and she was a female commanding officer. Ouch. Wow. That's a little bit risque. Anyway, so we're walking and we're sandwiched between these two guys, and I can hear my hubby say we're gonna get robbed. We're about ready to get robbed. Mm-hmm. And I'm limping. I can't run. I mean, I can't run anyways. Look at me. But I'm injured, and they've sandwiched us in, and just then really loud enough to get their attention. Papa Jim, he like pats his front pockets on his shorts. He goes, "Oh man." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Oh, I forgot the money. We can't go to the flea market without the money. We got to go back to the room." And so we stopped and we turned around. we started heading back there. And they stopped their forward motion too. They went back to what they were doing. They were done following us. They didn't think we had any money. And so we dodged that.
Man, I like
never
that.
went to the flea market. We never left the resort after that unless it was on a planned excursion.
Right.
So yeah, we almost got mugged in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yossi Blue Farm says hello. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Shannon, she has a 7-year-old girl, 4-year-old boy, 1-year-old boy, 3 dogs, a cat, and a husband, and her house is always a mess. I have a YouTube addiction and 4 dogs in this house, and my house is a mess because I haven't been doing anything I'm supposed to do.
No, I kind of like, okay, since we accepted an offer on our house, and so
Oh, good.
we just had the appraiser come through last night, and Thursday the inspection is happening. So it seems to be moving nice and quick.
Wonderful.
But so since I don't have any house showings, I'm just kind of relaxing, and I'm like, okay, I can't let the house go too bad.
I live with my father and my big brother, so you can imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a chef, I'm sure you're really on top of your kitchen.
Yeah, at least that.
Yeah.
The rest of the house, that's another thing.
Well, you don't have any ladies to fall on the toilet, so that's okay too.
Yeah.
Papa Jim will come home at the end of the day. He'll go, "What'd you do today?" I edited a video.
I know, that's my husband's like, so what did you do? I'm like, well, my work time is during, when the kiddo's home. So it's
Speaking of that, I did my video yesterday.
nice.
Edit around 3 hours. Then
You did a 3-hour video?
No,
He
the
edited
edited part.
3
Oh.
Yeah. The video is only 26 minutes.
Okay.
I did a kosher kebab.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So it's my collaboration with Q Kitchen and Beyond.
Wonderful. Well, I will check that out. I don't know. I didn't get a notification. I'm going to have to check my notification though.
I did a premiere. It's going to be Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's why I didn't get a notification then.
Yeah.
I will still check my notification.
I'm excited, Yossi. Yay.
Yes, I enjoyed your intro. You say you're not feeling well. Do you have the thing that shall not be named, or you just not under the weather?
I had it in the past, but not.
So it's kind of you have little bouts where some days you just don't feel as good.
Usually, when the temperature is jumping night and day, I get sick.
Okay, I have the same.
A lot of people get sick. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually get sick at the change of seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some asthma issues a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to get and see the doctor, and they were like, "Nope, you have to go to a sick clinic." And it's like, "It's my asthma." No, you have to go to a sick clinic.
Yeah.
So,
allergy is on the roof now, right now.
Yeah, I have those days. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I hope you perk right back up again soon.
I started to drink cranberry juice.
Mm-hmm. That'll help.
It's very healthy.
I have a video for making your own cranberry juice.
Nice.
If you've never tried it, it's very delicious. It's very good.
In Israel, you can find them only dry or fries. Not fries. Frozen. Sorry about that.
You could still use frozen ones.
Yeah. For juice especially, right?
Oh, juice. I love the juice. I love cracking. I'm
like
going to make more juice. I'm going to
is so good, yeah.
It's so good. And I did a video last year. I might do another video this year, but I'm going to wait until after the holidays because then they go on sale for like 25 cents a bag. And then I could get a whole bunch of them and I'll make a whole bunch more juice.
No, the juice is a miracle because my brother the other day started to piss blood. And I Googled it how to find like where in Israel we call a grandma cure.
A grandma cure.
Yeah, and I found the cranberry juice.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 days later,
Urinary
he
tract.
have nothing.
Good.
Nice.
Yes, it is a good home remedy that people don't give enough credit to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the doctors all of a sudden are trying to poo-poo it just because it's a home remedy, I'm sure.
Well, but the thing is if you've got a bad UTI and you go to the doctor now, they tell you to get the over-the-counter stuff instead of giving you a prescription anymore because the prescription used to kind of like numb everything so you wouldn't have pain.
And
And
I
now you
did
can't
my
even look right.
research, and in Israel we have the cranberry and pills
Yeah.
plus vitamin C.
Yes. But it's not as good as the Peridium they
Yeah,
used
you
to.
got to be very careful with UTIs because if he's got a UTI, if his back starts hurting, he needs to get to the doctor immediately.
Yes.
Hmm.
You don't
Because
want it getting up to his
they
Well,
go
kidneys.
septic really easy.
my
And
brother is very difficult about it because the last time he saw a doctor it was in his 18 years old, and now it's
right.
40 something.
Wow. Well, it's good that he's gone that long without needing that, but if he gets really sick with this, he's
Yeah,
got to go in. You don't want to damage your kidneys.
yeah.
Shannon says, when my husband asks what I did all day, I point to the kids and animals and say I kept them alive. That's all you get today. I remember when the kids were little and Jim would come home and say, "What'd you do today?" It's like, I loved on your children. I loved on your children. And that's about it. That's all you get today. And I've even had that here. He'll come home and even on days that I didn't edit a video or anything, he'll say, "What you doing?" It's like, well, the dogs are here and I fed the chickens and I collected the eggs, and that's about all you're going to get out of me today. But then there are some days, usually when I have these lives, I get, my hair done, my makeup done, I look presentable, and then I'll shoot 2 or 3 videos and then I can edit them over time.
Yeah, I do that too.
If you think about it, if you let the house 2 3 days without touch it, it's gonna be dusty.
My house is dusty every day. I live on a dirt road and all the tractors go down my road.
Yeah.
And so it's a constant. It's so dusty here that one time I had a family member visit who had never been here, and we were in the backyard with the chickens. And she says, "Oh my God, your house is on fire," because all of this stuff started floating across. It's like, no, it's just dirt from the road. But she thought everything was on fire. Good morning, Southern Roots.
Our new homestead will be on a dirt road too, or it is on a dirt road. We own the property, but the trees kind of envelop where we're gonna build. It's like there's an opening, and then it opens to a 60-acre field, and in there is where we're gonna build our house, and so it will shield a lot of the dust.
Yeah, the prior owner put a whole row of conifer trees in front. And so that gets a lot of the dust, but we still get a lot.
Yeah.
At least you don't live next to a construction site.
Yeah, I've done that.
That would be messy too.
I used to live downtown, and they were putting up a big, huge building right next to our building.
Yeah, we get all of the farm equipment, all of the 18-wheelers, all of the farmers use this road. It's a farm to market road. And most days are tolerable. But what's really bad is when they prepare the fields for putting in the seeds, or they're amending the soil and stuff, and they go get all of the pig poop from the pig farms, and then they spray it all in the fields, and it stinks so bad.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't matter what direction the wind blows because I'm surrounded by fields.
Yeah.
And we'll open the door and go, "Woo, the farmers are busy today."
I don't know about pig poop, but cow poop can open your sinuses.
Yeah, pig dairy, like dairy farms can be pretty bad, but I think the pig farms have it beat, and chicken farms are pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But I guess you get used to it on the daily, but when they haul those trucks and they're spraying it all out in the fields, it's
or when they let it concentrate into that big slap, like some of those dairies do, and pig farms, they just have it, all this poo running out into this big
yeah.
Disgusting.
Shannon says that stench is the smell of money in Arkansas. Yeah, that's what they call it here too. It's like, that's money right there. That's money. And so what do? You just live with it. I'd rather live here and have that and smell that than some of the things we had when we lived in town. So
Right. Human poop, like here.
Yeah, all over the
It's like,
sidewalks. It's lovely.
Yeah.
at least
I was married in Arkansas, Shannon. I've lived there.
yeah.
Okay, good. I'm seeing that the mods are chatting back and forth, and I thought we had an issue, but they're just dropping links, so that's good. Sadly, I got to force myself to go out and get some work done today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Celtic Roots Farm. I appreciate you stopping in. Someday I will learn your name, and then I will promptly forget it. And then I will call you something that you're not until I get it straight in my head.
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm like,
Who are you?
oh my goodness. Last night we were talking in a chat and I just could not. I'm like, and what? I'm like, I couldn't even remember the channel name, you know?
Yeah. Well, I had somebody, was it Monday? Was it yesterday? I don't know what day it was. I don't know where I was, but I said something, and the person said, I've been in your chats before. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, you're new to me. And she's like, no, I've been here before. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just blame the brain. Chris grew up in Arkansas. We got a lot of Arkies in here. My husband was born in Arkansas, and then we got married in Arkansas. And then we promptly left Arkansas. And I don't think I've been back. I haven't been back to Arkansas since 1983.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you moved where from Arkansas?
To California, and then to Iowa, and then to Texas, then back to California, and now to Iowa. I just like going.
How do you move from? So what was in California that drew you back the second time?
Well, I met Jim in California, and then we all moved to Arkansas, and the family business did not go as planned in Arkansas. So his dad said, let's move back to California, and Jim followed his dad everywhere.
Yeah.
So we went back to California, and then we came upon some hard times because I had a medical scare. And the same week that I had a medical scare, my husband's paycheck bounced.
Oh.
So my parents said, we'll send you some money, come back to Iowa. So we did. And when the snow thawed in June, my husband said, I'm out of here. And we moved to Texas, where his grandmother was.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going back to California following his dad again. And we stayed there for 28 years until I could finally talk him into coming to Iowa. And every once in a while, he'll threaten me. He'll say, I was thinking about moving back to Iowa again. It's like, nope. Or back to California.
Yeah.
Go. I'm staying right here unless life becomes so miserable with my breathing or something that a doctor says you have to go to Arizona or something. I'm staying here till the day I die.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in California. No offense to Californians up there.
Yeah. I've been back to visit my boys, and it's changed a lot in the last 8 or 10 years.
It's a lot like here, and I don't want to live here, so.
Yeah. I'll never live there again. I'll never go back. There's just no way. But I will go see my boys and my grandbabies, but it's a hard one. It's difficult. When you get off the plane and there's homeless people sleeping in the parking lot where you pick up your rental car.
Yeah.
A little bit much for me.
Yeah.
Well, I hate big cities, period.
Yeah. I've never liked big cities, and the city we grew up in wasn't huge, but it's not like it was Los Angeles or San Diego or anything, but where we lived was getting big enough, and enough big city crime had come in that I was pretty much done.
Right.
And when our son moved back here, his deciding factor was when he heard something outside of his house one night, and he opened up the door, and there was a man that was stabbed in his bushes, just laying in his bushes right outside the front door with a knife in his belly. And my son said, my kids play out here during the daytime, and now people are just falling over, stabbed in my yard. He said, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
My daughter and my son live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And people ask me, when we moved here to Iowa, people are saying things like, why would you leave California? So wonderful. It's like, it's not what you think it is in the movies.
Yeah.
It's not.
Or on the commercials.
It's all in the commercials. And I know Yossi's in Israel, but I love what I've seen of Tel Aviv. Like downtown, nightlife. But I don't know, again, you don't know what you're seeing. Is that really the way it is, or is it just one little section?
Yeah, it depends. It depends. They have a part of Tel Aviv. It's very dangerous and drug abuse and all that things.
Right. Well, my brother used to live in Turkey, and he would always say, "You need to come visit us in Turkey." And I'm like, "I'm not going to Turkey." And
Right.
then I see footage of where his apartment was in Turkey. And it's like, gosh, that's really beautiful where he lived.
Right.
It's really beautiful where he lived. And he would just go out of his apartment in the daytime and go down to the market and buy the food that they needed for the day and take it back up. And my aunt went over there, and she went all over Turkey with him. She absolutely loved it. But I just wasn't ready to get on a plane and go all the way to Turkey. And
Don't forget that sometimes even the neighbor yard is appears to be beautiful.
the grass is greener.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like Irma Bombeck's take on that. The grass is always greener over the septic tank.
Yep.
You never know what you're getting into.
Right.
And I like to say and it's not my quote, I've picked it up over the years, is, the grass may be greener on the other side of the fence, but maybe you need to pay attention to your own grass.
Right.
yeah.
Don't focus on what's on the other
It's
side.
it's like the same famous saying out of the Bible. When you're talking about somebody else, and you got this big old, thorn in your own eye, and you're pointing out somebody else's thorn.
Mm-hmm. I always like to say, when you point it, this is not a gun. I don't want anybody to get me in trouble. When you point at somebody, you have to remember you've got 3 fingers pointing back at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're pointing at somebody in judgment, you better look at the 3 fingers pointing back at yourself first.
Yeah.
Blue Farm says that
Never heard it.
born and raised in Phoenix, don't suggest visiting unless it's winter. Yeah, I grew up in Arizona as well before I met my husband. We lived just north of Kingman. So those are some hot, dry summers. I get ya. Oh, goodness. So, Yossi, what are your plans for the rest of the week once you start feeling better?
Doing my next video,
Awesome.
I have plan of doing the pita bread,
Mm-hmm.
and then because of the pita bread, next after that it's gonna be hummus.
Ooh, hummus.
Nice.
My husband came home the other day because we're not preppers, but we're survivalists. I mean, we live out here on this farm, and we can go a week or 2 without the plows digging us out. So I always like to make sure I have enough food. But especially in the last year and a half, it's kind of been like this scavenger hunt to see what you can pick up at the store and bring home.
Mm-hmm.
And hubby went to the store the other day because I said, with all of these transportation things that are hitting, we need to make sure we have a little extra. He comes home the other day and he brought home like 6 or 8 bags of dried garbanzo beans. And I said, boy, you really, really brought home a lot of garbanzo beans. I said, I guess I'm going to have to do something with those. And he says, well, don't you normally get them like that? It's like, no, I usually buy them in a can. I said, so now I'm going to have to do something with my garbanzo beans so I can put them up.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Most importantly, before you do something with it, you need to put it in water at least all night.
yes. The only time I have not, Scott's coming up. The only time I have not done beans overnight is when I do my Fiesta beans, and I'll be doing a video on those coming up. They are delicious, and I can them, but I don't soak them.
Your Fiesta beans, do you like do the snapping and all that?
They do. And I wear a
a
sombrero. Dang it, now I gotta go wear a sombrero. Oh, but then somebody's gonna get me for culture appropriation. I better be careful.
Yeah.
I think
Nowadays, yeah.
You can't have fun anymore.
No, you can't have any fun.
well, and Chris is lobbying to get the right colors in Crayola, but he's let us all down.
Uh-oh.
I know. He's in the chat. I just had to throw a little bit of dirt at him.
Scott says, that's why I always use the army knife hand. No fingers pointing back.
I didn't say that.
No, Chris said that.
Okay, you said me.
Yeah.
He always uses his army knife hand, no fingers pointing back.
Yep.
Can you decipher it, Scott?
Not me. I didn't say it.
Is it because if you're holding something, no fingers are pointing back? I don't know. I don't know that one. Hey, Joe.
If you hold
Probably
the knife like this, the fingers
They're still pointing
go
at
up.
you.
Yeah,
Maybe.
the finger. They're still pointing at you though.
Okay, so everybody's going to turn in right now and wonder, what's everybody doing?
What is this?
What is she doing? Oh, now she's
We're
got
talking
two of
about
them going.
milking. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
By the way, I received my first mail today from this community.
Oh, you did. What did you get?
Oh,
I
nice.
got it.
Oh,
You
from
finally got it.
Joe. Look at that, Joe. You got a mail call. Oh, Chris is wanting to come on too. Can we all squeeze in? Get all nice and comfy.
Hello, Chris.
I love his
The Army
stickers.
knife hand.
He got a sticker from Garden State Gardener.
Oh, that's the Army
awesome.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
The Army knife hand.
Oh, I got you. We grew up calling that something else, but again, appropriation. So I got to be careful.
I was about to say that. It
Right?
wasn't army knife whenever I was a kid.
You know,
Oh.
Bob tell us in the Philippines, you always you don't point with your finger, you point with the whole hand.
That's right. That way, nothing's ever pointed back at you.
That's true. My dad had a terrible habit of anytime he would be like reading something and want to like track as he's reading or show you something on instructions, he'd always use his middle finger. He'd always. And as a teenager, it was
Oh,
so
my goodness.
mortifying.
Oh, yeah.
But my dad at church, if he had his Bible, he's like, I want to show you the scripture. And he's like this with his middle finger. Dad, stop that.
That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness.
Yossi, what are you going to do with that sticker? Are you going to start a sticker wall? Are you going to do a sticker
I
window?
recently got a new door on my room. It's plain, so I have plenty of room to stick it up there.
All right. So
Nice.
Yossi needs to start getting some stickers. I'll see if I can get a sticker out to
So
you,
how much
Yossi.
postage did it take to get to you, Yossi? Because maybe I can send you a sticker too.
Does
I
it say on
don't
the
know.
outside of that envelope?
The outside of the envelope, Yost.
You got
Yes.
like three.
3 stamps. So roughly
Yeah.
$1.60, $1.65.
That's
Yeah,
not bad.
that's not
I
bad.
think that's about
No.
what I just spent sending something up to Aaron up in Canada.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And
I'll,
a lot farther away than Aaron is to you.
Yes.
So that's a pretty good for, I'd be interested to see how much it cost Joe whenever he sent the seeds. Because I know this is the second time he sent you something, Yossi, and you didn't get the first time, or
I think this is the first. It just took so long.
Is there
Oh.
a date stamp on it?
No, but in the card it says it's gonna when I signed from the Jelly Bean, squad.
Does that have a
And-
date at all?
well, Joe's
No,
in the
but
chat.
I couldn't sign from the last 1 or 2 months. I need to sign again.
Well, I'll tell
So-
you that the envelope that I sent to Aaron, it only took about maybe a week or 8 or 9 days, but it took 6 weeks to get something to Raquel.
Huh.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm sitting here. I've got my chat up. I'm not even watching. I just keep going back to make sure that I'm in the picture, but I've got the chat up in case somebody shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I disappear, you know that he's here, and I'm going to go back and devote because I've got my computer ready. I've got my laptop ready. Or
Good.
my laptop.
I
and
don't
my-
know how you guys get rid of some of those things hit so fast and there's so many of them. Do you only have to delete one and they all go away?
Yeah.
You have to do each one or the person?
Yeah.
Every time,
I thought-
while he's a new,
When you report it, it's gone, no?
Huh?
Yeah, but he comes in with he spams us with so many
Yeah.
Channels, yeah.
yeah. So
I
and
wasn't alive the other day of
you were
the
with Tony last night whenever he was
yeah,
hitting us.
yeah.
And I will apologize right now. Some innocent people get caught in the crossfires. Mr. Jim got it last night. I had deleted him. John went to delete him, but it went away. Mr. Jim was there, and he deleted him out for 300 seconds. So it's unfortunate, but we got to keep on top
Courtney
of it.
got a VPN, and Courtney from Wild Family Farms, and it really helped. And my husband has a VPN. I think he's going to add me. And
I don't understand what a VPN is.
It's like guardian of your stuff, basically.
Okay.
If someone tried to attack you hacker-wise, he puts blocks and firewalls.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you notice, that's why all my stuff is actually turned off, so that they can't enter any of my devices.
Right.
And that's how he's getting in through the back door. YouTube can't shut him down.
Yeah.
They can't.
And it's because you leave your devices on?
Well, if you leave your devices on and you're hooked up wirelessly, any hacker can get into your computer at any time. The only time that they can't is if it's turned off. Or connect the wireless, like you can leave it on if you want, but disconnect from the internet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is Joey saying there?
Joe's saying he's not sure, but he believes packages start at 10 to 15 to send out of the U.S. And Yossi, you're going to be getting a third one soon.
I'm
a third
putting
envelope.
Strong passwords on everything. Like really intricate passwords through a system too. Because I got a really creepy message on one of my older videos, like I have like 270 videos or something like that. And on one of my very old ones that kind of gives some clues into my life, somebody left a really creepy message on there. And then I clicked on that person, and it was a cloned account of a big channel. So they cloned a big channel, and so
I just don't understand why people can't just let people do their thing and leave us alone.
Yeah,
because they get a rush.
Yeah, I know it's for the rush, but I just find something else.
Well, look at what he did to Courtney just this weekend. She got attacked by two different ones.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, the two people that she got hacked by, I'm actually still shocked. Because one of the people I talk to several times a week, and I don't mean my brother Herv.
Yeah.
The other person that I talked to that channel multiple times throughout the week. And I was floored. So you never know.
Yeah, I know the situation, and I think it is that person for me too, and that's why and that person lives a state away from me.
Okay.
And so let's just say I've taken some things out of the cabinet that I have and laying around the house. So
I don't.
Because this person has approached somebody else in our community and showed up at their P.O. box.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Scary.
Measures are going to be taken.
And I think it's the same guy who messaged me 2 times in Instagram warning me about Courtney.
Yeah. Telling you that Courtney wasn't a good person and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've not been subjected to any of that, knock on wood.
No, me neither.
But
Yeah.
it's right. The only way you can find my
There's no wood in your
Instagram
head,
if you can
Scott.
if you follow me on Facebook.
Well, don't give anybody any hints.
No, because sometimes I post the same thing here and there.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's the only clue.
And I was saying to Yossi there whenever I was still before I came up, about 3% of my channel is from Israel now.
Mm.
Nice.
I've got a pretty big following from the Philippines
That's awesome.
and Israel. Now I did have to ban that one fella that started turning everything political between the two countries, and
Yeah.
he wasn't talking about my country, he was talking about your country.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, but I've got way too many veterans in this whole community, and my
Yeah.
son is going to be a veteran.
Mhm.
The
Sorry,
problem
dude.
with that, if someone family from Israel, you cannot know it's from Israel or from Gaza.
Okay. Okay. I think he was from the other side, Yossi, because it got very. He was very nice, and I warned him about 4 times,
Mm.
Mm.
and finally the
You're
5th
such a
time.
nice guy, though, Scott. I mean, you're really to some of the crazies in the
And then there's the gas man.
yeah.
And Scott remembers the gas man.
Yeah.
And I believe that was Iraq or Iran.
Yeah.
Yep.
Iraq.
Iraq.
It
I
is a
was a
crazy
kid
world.
because I born in 86. So in 91 I was a child, and I remember all that very precisely.
No kid should have to go through that.
No.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can come here in harmony.
Absolutely. We're one big
And
family
there's
here.
none of that division here. And I do love that.
Right.
Were you in
And
the
that's what's
live?
so wonderful.
Were you in the live whenever we were talking about that? I guess it was last week. I don't know if it was my live or what, but somebody brought up, can you imagine if we all lived in the same county? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
our tight group,
Mhm.
like our community.
I was in
like
that.
yeah,
Tony
you were in
talk
the,
about it all the time.
like it's just, wouldn't that be such an amazing place to be?
Yeah.
It would.
I
It's
wouldn't
just
want
like when Yogi drove through my state and we got together for lunch. That was awesome.
Yeah, she's so neat. I would love her in my county too.
maybe
Blue
it was
Farm says Courtney is amazing. I'm so happy I stumbled on her channel. I'm also thankful she shared information on this community with me. Courtney doesn't deserve the crap
No.
that happens to her. That is very true.
Yeah.
None of us do. I'm going to be
We're
on
all-
Courtney tonight, by the way, guys. Tonight's
Yeah,
my
I'm
interview
looking
with Courtney.
forward to
Excited.
it.
And so I was trying to think earlier today. It's like, should I dye my hair back to my magenta just for the interview? Because it really needs to be done.
Right.
And then I thought, every time I dye my hair, I get like dye on my forehead and my ears are all purple. Do I want to show up looking like that kind of a hot mess? I don't know.
You can put the way the nose, and that's it.
I promise I will be dressed for Courtney's interview tonight, though.
Yeah.
I'll get dressed. Yeah, we would have block parties if we all lived in the same area. Be like, okay,
I've
walking
given up
tacos
cooking.
in Country Mama's summer kitchen tonight.
Yep.
it would be, yeah, if there was a perfect place.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we couldn't live all on the same property. We'd need a little bit of,
No,
Yeah.
but
I love
that's
y'all, but
down
no,
the
you
road.
judge me far too much.
yeah, I said county, so we have a little bit of
Yes.
room.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hello,
So
Jessica.
we could all have
Dumpster
meetings
Girls.
and talk freely about some of the challenges.
Right. And our
Yeah, we
friend
would-
wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd invite him. He's always polite on my channel.
And I mentioned that to somebody the other day that you have developed a rapport with him.
Yep.
And so
LG
he behaves.
You know why? Because I treated him like a little baby the first time that he hit my channel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you were there. I pretty
Yeah.
much called him everything but a sailor.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, multiple personalities, and I went at him. And I feel really bad. I really shouldn't have. That was really unprofessional of me, but I put him in his place, and he seems to.
Sometimes you have to pull out the armory where you need to.
That's it.
Yeah, but when you just started either ignoring him or yeah, you said to him one time, yeah, you need to get out of your mom's basement.
Yeah.
You know, but when you started just ignoring him and having the mods take care of him, that's when things started changing, you know.
I did get a kick out of he had come over into a live that I was in under a different name.
Yeah.
And the ladies who were running that live, they didn't pick up on it that if you read the name quickly, it was naughty.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, hello. And they said the first name. They're like, welcome to our live. It's like, oh, honey, read the
Wasn't
whole
that-
name.
Yeah, wasn't that church ladies you were in? You were telling me about that.
It was, well, yeah, we call them that. We can call them that. So it went right over their head. And I was just sitting there laughing, just laughing. And it reminds me of when we had a student at one of the schools that I worked at. And I don't know why why his parents did this to him. But his name was Michael Hawk. And we called him Michael. But when his grandma would come to pick him up, you know, she'd walk right up to the counter and say, I'm here to pick up my grandson, Mike Hawk. And she'd never call him Michael. But that's a true story.
Yeah.
And she'd always say it, but she never got it.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'd say, oh, Michael? She goes, yeah, Mike. My grandson's like, okay. But anytime, and this is probably wrong, but anytime that we were having a really difficult day as adults with all of these kids, and we had kids from K through 12 at this one location, it was a charter school. If we were having a particularly tough day, you know, we would just like go 2, 5, 7, because on our roster, that's what number that kid fell under. He was our 257th student on the roster. And then we would kind of get a giggle because we would think, my God. And then we go back to being adults.
That's the same kind of, I mean, I worked at a school that was primarily autistic kids. There was a few other kinds mixed in, oppositional defiance disorder and stuff like that. And it was K through 12 too. And so you try to keep the bigger ones away from the smaller ones. And
yeah, but sometimes days are just
yeah, it's
so Jessica, she went dumpster diving this morning. She found some good stuff. I can't wait to see those videos. I love the stuff you find. I love that one person's trash is another person's treasure, and there's no shame in my game either.
Yeah.
Goodness, Harley. Boy, he sneezed.
So
he's not going to be happy when he realizes he has to pee and he has to go out in this cold rain. Oh goodness, he's sneezing. Okay. Poor baby. Do you see him down there? Hello, Harley.
I'm joining with another thing. So I'm going to log off of this.
And you want me to add you with the other?
Add me with the other because, there's something.
Ooh, okay. The reverb. Woo. I hear you, Jessica. I think there are several here that fall into that category as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe, I hear you. And
Is that better?
We also had a teacher at school, and his name was Michael Hunter. And thankfully, he had the ER at the end, but still, it didn't work. It was Mike Hunter.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What do you? My first initial is an A. My middle initial is an S. I always worried that I would marry a Smith, and then the monogram on my towels would be ASS. So anytime I would figure out what I was going to name my children, I made sure that their monogram was going to be okay. And I remember for a while I wanted to name, if we were going to have a daughter, I wanted to name her Bethany Lynn, but then I would have a BLT. So I changed my mind on that and didn't go with the BLT.
Right.
But I think it's funny how the monograms come together, and I'm thankful I didn't marry a Smith or a Peterson,
Yeah.
and then I'd be an Asp.
Yeah, I'm glad Courtney's getting the word out about what's going on, but
Whoa.
Think
Okay.
I'm back.
you are back.
What happened?
Sorry, guys. I just got a message that we have something happening at our high school, so I'm just double checking. Yeah.
If you
Okay.
need to go,
Oh,
I
trust
think we're good here. Jessica, you've got some learning disabilities and physical disabilities with your children. I get that. 3 of my children received services, so I think
Right.
that's why I ended up working in special education when I did. Because
I was like that.
say that again, Yossi.
I was like that.
Were
I
you?
was too. Yeah.
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 I'm just
I didn't receive services as a child, but I bet you I qualified for services as a child, especially with some ADD issues and.
Not only that, I was on pills.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So were my boys. I kind of regret that looking back, but when they're bouncing off the walls and that's what the doctors tell you need and you're stupid enough to listen.
right.
But the most important thing that changed me, there was the army.
Yes. Made you grow up real quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
And over there, Yossi, is it mandatory at a certain age that you join the army? Does
Yes.
everybody have to do a certain amount of time?
Yes. Boys and girls, 18 years old, immediately. Only if women, if you got married on this age of 18, you have the choice if you want to join or no.
But their spouse at that early age, their spouse still has to go.
Yeah.
And then but they're financially secure in that, correct?
Yes.
If you're a
because-
married couple, like with a young baby, and the one has to go in, they're financially
Yeah.
okay.
Because a regular soldier received little money. That it's not sufficient to nothing. Like it's 200 shekels, Israeli shekels. And a married couple received a lot more, like 2,000 something.
Get some coffee.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna get some coffee.
Sure. Well, you're up. I'm just about out of here too. So
Warm
Wouldn't that be
everybody's
nice? Like,
cup up.
I drink
I know.
coffee.
I bet you are proud of your children, Jessica. That's so wonderful.
for Scott, I'm sorry.
And Yossi's
Coffee.
got the poop troop going.
oh, that's funny.
I didn't bring one of my country mama mugs. I just grabbed the biggest mug that would hold the most warmth this morning and grabbed it.
Well, and for those folks in the chat that want a mug for Wednesday mornings, I put the link up for Alicia's merch.
Thank you. I haven't sold any mugs yet. Nobody wants to wrap their mitts around 2 hot chicks.
I need to check it out. I did check it yet.
I love the mugs. I'm not going to be focusing on t-shirts. I'm not overly thrilled with the t-shirt that I got a sample of, but the mugs, I'll promote the mugs. Everybody likes to have a mug for
If I'm
coffee.
gonna do a sticker one day, I'm gonna do the sticker of my logo with the bear in the hat.
Okay.
So cute.
I need to come up with alternative logos. I got my stickers, and I'm happy I got my stickers, but I went with the 2-inch stickers. And, Yogi's passing out those 3-inch stickers, and I've got
Yeah.
these 2-inch stickers, and they look like pasties.
That's what
I
I.
think it's also 2, I think.
Yes,
Yeah, that's a 3-inch.
that's a 3-inch.
That's what I ordered was 3-inch, and I finally got mad at them last night and sent them a message. They advertised that they were Canadian and or U.S. manufactured. They were manufactured in Sweden,
Oh, not even China.
and I've now waited 3 weeks for my stickers. So I'm like,
They're stuck on a boat in Long Beach.
Yeah.
that's it. So I'm like, guys, that's. Oh, Yossi Joe just said that our shirts are going out today.
There you go.
Nice.
I'm not sure what Chris thought he heard, but now I don't know what I said or what somebody said. Somebody, I don't know if I said something. I don't know.
I don't know. I've always got to be very careful around Chris. Ever since I got him good, I'm just worried he will get me back one day. And I know he will. So I just
You need to be careful when you open your door.
Oh, I'm not worried about him. He can't come across the border.
No. And Colty's Live, we loan, you can send someone poop in a bag.
Oh, no. Well, it's good for growing potatoes.
Yeah, she put the page of the thing, and you see immediately a big elephant taking a dump. You remember, Laura?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Chris heard Laura. Chris said coffee, but that's not what he heard.
Chris, you'll get shot if you come across the border. You haven't got the pokey.
Yeah.
Now, you can walk across the border. You can walk across the border and there won't be an issue. Just don't go to a manned station.
Yeah.
Gee, that sounds familiar.
And don't go to Texas border.
Oh, you have no idea how many folks walk from the U.S. to Canada every day.
Really? Yeah. We just don't hear about it.
Yeah, there's some areas on the border that it's very...
There's literally like a goat path or like a cattle path, and folks carry their life possessions.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing here with Egypt.
Oh,
between Israel and Egypt.
So this is just all over.
Yeah, we're all over the place today.
We are, aren't we? It's kind of weird and interesting all at the same time. Jessica, thank you so much for joining in. I'm glad you were here, and I cannot wait to see what you make with your treasures that you found today.
Bye, Jessica.
And Chris is saying he says there are ways. He's not saying he was going to do that, but there are ways. And I'll be honest with you, Scott, where we live, we've considered, hey, I mean, that's our only alternative where we are.
Yeah.
Would we make it? I don't know. But I did a video on a blackout bag for if you lose power, and it's picking up speed because people are starting to look those things up.
Yeah.
More views than I had before. And I was putting my bags together, and my son said, "Mom, we're not bugging out anywhere. If we're bugging in. So I don't know why you're making all of these boxes that are easy to put in a truck if we have to go." And I said, because you never know. If we get flooded here, I can't bug in. If I ended up in a Red Cross something somewhere, I've got a nice kit to put underneath my cot. Okay. That'll have some basic necessities to get me through.
Yeah.
Are you in a floodplain?
No, but with the way the weather's been in Iowa the past few years, who knows? I mean, we had a terrible flood hit Iowa a few years ago where it took months and months and months that people were underwater. And then we had that derecho blow through last year.
Yeah. Where it flooded.
And we've never seen that before.
Wasn't too far from where we live, but.
And then you look at Wyoming. They're under 130 year or 120 some odd year drought.
Well, you never expected see what happened in New York.
Yeah, the flooding.
What about Texas being frozen last year? Yeah. Texas had a terrible freeze snap.
And they're warning it's going to be worse this year.
Really, for Texas?
Right, and we get a move during the weather.
I told my grandson the other day, we were talking about weather because they've moved recently. They sold their home, got a fifth wheel, and they've moved recently. And I said, what's exciting is you're going to get to experience snow now. He's like, no, I don't think so. I said, yeah, I grew up where you're living. And I remember we had snow. He goes, Grandma, that was before climate change. He says, we're not going to get snow.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll just wait to hear back from you when you get snow.
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, when we moved into this farm, the day we moved in, which was on a January 1st, it was the first of the year. With the wind chill factor, it was 50 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And he said, no, Grandma, I don't think so.
Yeah.
What? I was here. He says, I don't think it gets that cold there. I assure you it does. He goes, I don't think it's possible. He goes, it's not like you live in Alaska or anything. I said, we're colder than Alaska.
Yeah, we're gonna be going over the mountains in January, the beginning of
goodness.
January. So
Plan it on a good day, or you'd be stuck at
Safe
the top.
travels.
Yep.
Safe travels.
yeah,
That I crossed over from Wyoming over the heading towards Seattle. That would have been about 2005 when an 18-wheeler, and I thought I saw snow.
Mm.
When I had to look up out of my 18-wheeler to see the top of the snowbank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Yossi. Like I'm talking, it
Hi,
was
Joe.
like 25, 30 feet high. They couldn't plow anymore. They had a blower and they were blowing the snow
Uh-huh.
up. It was that high.
We had a few winters ago, we had a pretty big blizzard come through, and we're pretty protected here on the farm because of our grove of trees.
yeah.
But once you get past that barrier, the snow is just piling up. And we had a van out here to the west of our farm, and it was under snow completely, just was a mound on the road. And it was a minivan underneath there. He was there for, I don't know how long before they could get him out. But I remember my husband called into work and he said, I can't make it to work today. And I mean, it was that way for several days. But that first day they said, well, I made it to work. Why can't you make it to work?
Right.
Well, we're in a different county and you don't live on the road we live on. If you could see this, you'd know.
Right.
And he was pretty much said, well, you're going to get penalized for this or penalized for that because of your attendance at work. And my husband says, I literally cannot make it into work. And they said, well, you chose where you live.
City folk don't get it. They
And
really
my husband said, I choose where I work too. And he found another job. And when he started that job, he said, I'm going to tell you right now, there will be days I cannot make it into work. And I'm not going to risk my life.
Right.
I'm not going to risk my life to come into work where nobody can come in to get service because they're all snowed in. It's just
Right.
stupid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, bye, Farm and HVAC. I'm so glad you were able to stop by. I appreciate it.
That's
Hello, Andale.
Oh, there she is. Hi, Enda.
Oh, there you
Hi,
are.
Anne.
Well, and
Welcome.
the other day almost took a hen out when he carved the pumpkin.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that was good.
I've
that
never
was
seen so much
hilarious.
flying pumpkin.
Yeah,
That
her
was
and
really great.
Yogi were just really going for it.
They
Oh,
were, and
yeah.
then Yogi started going after it with that butcher knife. I was worried she was going to lose a thumb
Yeah.
because they're slippery, and you get going. That
Mhm.
didn't look good. Anyway,
I tried to be a cheerleader.
yeah, I saw you going Yogi, Yogi, Yogi. I tried to remain neutral.
I cheered for everybody because I was
Right.
Well,
cracking a rib at everybody being so
if
silly.
you got a picture of an animal, I'm biased.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ann says she's still finding pumpkin pieces all over her house.
I can imagine.
Thank God you did it on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Lisa understood it, but I told Lisa the other day because she had put the pumpkin out for her chickens and
Yeah.
the chickens have been attacking. I said, that's how you should have done your pumpkin. You should have had your pumpkin all ready and then just put it in the middle of 20 chickens.
Yep.
Let them do whatever they want to do. And then when your 10 minutes was up, pick it up and say, ta-da.
Put like peanut butter or something on it where you want them to peck at.
There you
Fly
go.
larva.
Inject some peanut butter into the inside
Yeah.
of the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
actually have a farm up here that has told me Monday we can go fill up the back of my truck for $10,
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
and we'll just take it over to the pigs and the cattle, and they're
That's-
going to have a heyday.
They
That's
will.
awesome.
And everybody will be dewormed.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful.
I just don't.
Because
These
Halloween
people-
is a Saturday.
I can the pumpkin right now because not only does it deworm your animals, if you give it to your dogs, if they have a problem of eating their own excrement,
yeah,
it keeps them from doing it.
Huh.
really.
Well, I've never had
Mhm.
that problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've had friends that have had that problem, but I've got to say,
Wait, your friends do that or your friends' dogs?
hey, I don't ask, I don't judge.
I don't ask, I don't tell.
Nah. But yeah, some dogs that's all they'll eat, and then others, like we've been fortunate with all our animals, we've never had that issue.
Right. They say it's usually a deficiency in something, but
I do want to share with Chris, if you find pumpkins after Halloween to give to your chickens or your animals, make sure you don't get them from somebody who has treated the pumpkin to keep it from rotting. Because there is that thing going around that if you like dip your pumpkin in bleach, it won't rot as fast. Make sure that your animals don't get that. Pass on
Yeah.
those.
These are right
Awesome.
out in the field, and I know this is a farmer who thinks roughly the same as what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This year, nobody seems to be buying pumpkins. They're all going to Metro and to like the discount grocery stores, and they're paying $2 for a great big pumpkin that is full of steroids and whatever else. They're not going out to the farms this year to support. And I'm like, you people, you have no idea what's coming down the line here, guys.
yeah.
We're not seeing any of what you guys are seeing up here right
And this
now.
why we have only the big pumpkin, and we can buy it only at pieces.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting. Hello.
Hello. How do I mute me?
If
Mute
down with the microphone.
Got him.
Yeah, we
Now we can all talk about him.
I did
He
a
won't hear us. No, he can hear us. And then Scott said, and then Scott did.
yeah. That crazy Scott. He's always got something up his sleeve.
Yes, I do.
How,
Hey, I
How
actually
many
muted.
pumpkin-
What happened? Oh, you unmuted yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
how many pumpkin you gonna eat yourself?
I thought I held all the power.
No. You gave me a wrench. Silly girl.
Silly woman. You gave me a wrench. Oh.
I'm the
Yeah,
evil
wash
one.
them if you have to, Chris, but just make sure if they've been dipped in bleach, I wouldn't give them to your animals. And people are doing that. It's just like, when we had the goats, people would bring by their Christmas trees, which is great. But if they've been flocked or treated, don't dump them over the fence to feed my animals. Check with me first so I can tell you yay or nay.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I do think that contributed to some of our loss back when I was in treatment and I couldn't keep track of everything. We did get some husks and corn cobs.
People don't think about these things.
Right.
Uh,
Because they don't have the animals.
Yeah.
But even some people that have animals, they'll just whatever,
I did. I've had those learning instances where it's like, but I will tell you, one of the scariest things we had was when we had some corn on the cob and I threw the cobs away. I could throw them to my chickens, but our potbelly pigs live with the chickens and I didn't want the potbelly pigs to get sick because we had the donkey get sick. But one of our dogs ate the corn cob and I was in a panic because it can be deadly. And so if you ever have a dog eat a corn cob out of your trash or anything, what I've been told, and thankfully I haven't had to address it again, is you put some bread in olive oil and then let your dog eat it. And that makes sure that system stays very, very lubricated so they can get that corn cob out.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Because the corn cob will get stuck and then they get dehydrated and it absorbs the fluid and they get sick.
So right near Rachel at Brampton Gardner, a plane has just landed on the highway right close to where she lives.
Really?
Yeah, on the 407, which her community is probably 15-20 minutes from there. But yeah, a single engine plane caught fire in the air and it had to land in the middle of the highway.
Wow.
Well, at least it landed.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, everybody's
Yeah.
safe. But can you imagine driving down the highway and see a plane come over your vehicle?
My daughter-in-law has. She has
No.
witnessed, she has had that happen out here in Iowa. When I was riding in the combine, I had to cut so much footage out. But one of the things I had asked the driver, which he didn't really want to be on the film that much, kind of a private guy. But I asked him, I said, do you ever come across anything weird while you're doing this? You know, like, do you find somebody living out here? Or have you ever found a car out here? And he says, no, but one time they did come across an airplane.
Oh, weird.
They had an airplane that had gone down and just disappeared into the cornfields, because these cornfields, people get lost in the cornfields and sometimes they'll die. They can't get out. And what's really sad is we've had a boy here where we live, not in our county, but in an adjacent county, and he's been missing for weeks. And I think he's 10. And they've looked everywhere for him, and they found him in the cornfield. And I think he got in there and got lost, and he couldn't find his way out, and he perished.
Poor baby.
And
there's going to be more and more of that because there's so many, and I know especially in our community, we're so close to a large city. There's so many folks that come and ride their bikes through our trails and whatever else. They're going to get turned around once in the back 40, and we're going to have to send our first responders in to get them. And that's even if cell phones work.
I saw an interesting thing the other day on cell phones, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but I'm going to pass it along in here.
Leave your message.
You change your message on your phone.
Yeah.
And that way, if your phone dies, it's still going to go to your voice message, and the people who are calling you, trying to find you, you can leave them an indication of where you are. So
if you've broke down, give your surroundings, how far you've been driving. Most newer vehicles now tell you the direction you're facing. So, it's a great thing. I've already
great tip.
I've already put it into our girls at the township office, and they're going to publish it.
Awesome.
And if you have service, there's a bunch of software that you can download for tracking your kids.
Yes.
But if they were, I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up all the time. I know I told that one story where we lost our son up in the mountains, and we had no service.
Yeah, that's why I say if you have service.
Yeah. And I mean, Papa Jim, he climbed up on a rock and held his arm up, and we got one bar, and we had one bar, just enough to call the sheriff and let them know that our son was lost. And then the helicopters came, and
there's a lot of dead spots in our township. Like,
there's going to be a lot where I'm going to, but our homestead is right by a tower. So,
right where I sit is a dead spot. I cannot talk on my phone right here. Period. But if I move to my husband's seat or if I go into the kitchen, I can make a phone call. But not here. I don't know what it is about this part of the house, but it is a dead zone. And our entire farm is pretty much a dead zone.
The wall in your house is from wood or from concrete?
Wood. With a shingled roof.
Because
but we get
my whole house is concrete. It's a thick walls of concrete. So sometimes I don't have a singlet.
Right. Yeah. And we need to put a new roof on this, but I'm afraid if I put the metal roof on it, I won't be able to do anything.
House.
Oh, they sell boosters now. Honestly, they're very cheap, and Papa Jim could affix it to the side of the house, and you'll have strong cell service throughout your whole house. And they're not really that much.
Sometimes I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I really don't. Sometimes I don't mind it, and I have friends that when I call them and I keep dropping a call or the call won't go through, and they think I just don't want to talk, or they think I'm, fibbing a little bit. But when they come visit and then they see that their phones, like nothing for AT&T will work in this entire farm. Nothing.
Right.
We actually, the only thing we have found that works is we get the little track phones from Walmart. That's all that works is just a track phone.
Depend of the company also.
Huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends of the company.
And so I think these little track phones that we get at Walmart, I think they pick up a Verizon tower somewhere. We don't have a lot of towers out here,
Yeah.
and we're pretty remote. And like I
Yeah.
said, sometimes I don't mind, but there have been times where I've had to call 911 and I have to go out in the rain, stand on the deck, facing northeast, one leg, one hand in the air, and then call the police just to get a signal.
You
Yeah,
can
I mean,
you cannot do like the way you used to and the phone in the house and
A
plug in the
landline,
wall.
a landline. I
Yeah.
could, except when they put in the new septic system in the back by county code, we had to collapse the one in the front, and when they did, they ripped out all the wires.
Oh,
They ripped out all of our wire. They just went with the backhoe and they just disconnected everything from the house.
why?
We have no landline. Why? Because they were careless. And we didn't have a landline. We're like, whatever. But, I always figured worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, something ever happens to me out here and I cannot get a call out, but I can get on Facebook. I'll put the alert out on Facebook for somebody to
Yeah.
send the police over.
I
Yeah.
remember when I was like 4, 6 years old, you needed to plug in to the line of the phone line to go to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I remember that too. Blue Farm says that her homestead is a dead spot for Verizon. So Verizon sent us a cell phone booster. Just plug it into your router. Oh,
Oh wow.
I don't think that the little track phones are going to send me that. I can't think of the name. I mean, it's called track phone and it's called something else. Smart line or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but I know it's a lot cheaper than trying to get other cell phone services, and we don't use it a lot. And like I said, I like the solitude of it sometimes.
yeah.
I'll turn my phone off
Yeah.
and go for a drive,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll get. Whenever I get home, I'll be land-based by the kids. We tried to call you, and I'm like, "Yep, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Why do you think I turned off my phone?"
Sometimes
do.
you just need to drive. Yeah.
Usually, most
My
of the
husband does
time,
it
my
once
phone
in a
is on silence.
Yep.
And the times that phone calls do come through, it's usually somebody wanting to touch up with me about my car's warranty.
Yeah.
Or your credit card get a lower rate.
I haven't gotten those in a long time. Not
I
a
was
long time.
about to
It's
say
always the
don't put
warranty.
Bob, but
Always
Yeah.
the warranty.
Down here, it's the warranty all the time.
See, I don't think I've ever received a warranty call like that.
Oh, that's good, because we get them all the time.
and
That
Israel, you don't have something
one
like this.
thing we have not had in a long time, as Scott would do, knock on wood. We haven't gotten the
Gil does it
scammer.
too.
We haven't gotten the scammer thing from the IRS saying that I owe money or I'm going to be arrested.
Yeah. My daughter got
You
that.
know that
And she
that's
called
funny.
me like, Mom.
The other day, my father received money back from the taxes.
They received what?
Money back. They said he paid too much for some years, and he received some good amount back.
Scam.
No,
No?
it's for the government.
Huh.
The government in the States will not call you, or like the IRS. They'll send letters or they'll send.
They didn't
Or
call
they'll
him. They sent him a check.
Yeah.
I had somebody want to order something from me the other day. Not the other day, it's been over a year. And because I sell Color Street for nails.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrote me and they said, I'm deaf, so I don't have a phone, but I want to talk to you this way and I want to place an order for my grandma's birthday. We're having a birthday party. I was like, all right. She only wanted to order 3 things. I said, okay, well, here's your total. It was under $50. And she said, oh, no. I want those 3 sets, but I want 12 each. It's a pretty big party. I said, okay, well, here's your total. It's like $200 and something.
Yeah.
$300. She said, okay, well, I'm going to send you a cashier's check, money order.
Okay.
God, I can't get that up. I'm gonna get my inhaler in a minute.
Drink a little bit.
I'm sorry, guys. And I said, okay. So it gets sent, and as soon as it's in the mail, she goes, "Oh, my social worker who helps me do my things because she's deaf and she's got a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
My social worker made it out for too much money. So when you get it, go ahead, pay yourself, and then send me back the difference." And I knew before that, I figured it was a scam,
Yeah.
but I played along with it. I
Yeah.
played along with it. And I said, she would write, "Did you get the check?" "Oh, I got the check. Yeah. I'm going to go into the bank." So anxious. And did you send me the money? I need the money. It's like, "Oh, that money." She goes, "Well, just go to the store and get me some Amazon gift cards. And I
Yeah.
need it now because I'm having brain surgery and I need the money back for my brain surgery." It's like,
No.
you're going to use an Amazon gift card to pay the hospital off for your brain surgery? How does that work? "Oh, it works here. It works here." Wow, I've never heard that. And I just played along. Meanwhile, I had taken the check, all of the information and everything to the postmaster and the police department. And the postmaster said, "Thank you very much. We'll follow up on this."
Yeah.
But they were from Ohio, and their email and phone number, the phone number was from Miami, and the address that the check came from was from California,
Mm-hmm.
from some vending company.
Yeah.
Anyways, they kept harassing me. "Did you send the money? Did you send the money?" And I ghosted her for like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then I wrote back and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, I've been arrested for this. And now the police have all your information and they're going to come and arrest you too. I'm a cancer patient. Why would you do this? I just exploded on them. Never heard from them
Played it
again.
up.
Right? I played it out.
Good for you.
Nice.
That's not nice. Playing with a poor hacker like that.
I know, but they wanted me for $2,000 for their brain surgery.
And Amazon gift card.
Oh.
Oh, I ripped them up. I mean, what I just said was polite. I got a little bit feisty with them.
I can imagine.
And I told them doing this, where they were going to spend eternity and all those things. Karma. I let it all go. It is fun. It is fun when you can mess with them like that because
Yep.
got nothing better to do, really? I'll play it back with you for a little while.
I always play with them.
Mm-hmm.
I had one guy, the longest I've kept one of these scammers on the line was 45 minutes.
Nice.
And whoa, I learned some new curse words in several different languages.
I bet. Well, I was watching one that a YouTuber, Jack Vale, was doing, and he likes to string them along.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And he was stringing along one guy one time, and I think he was using his Jimmy Stewart voice or something. And he was on to him, and then the scammer realized he was on to him, and the scammer came back with really, really scary stuff. Really scary stuff with references to 9/11 and what he was going to do to him and all of these terrible things. And like he hung up the phone and he's like, "Wow, that was scary. I've never experienced that before." Because the guy's voice changed and he went right into
Psycho mode.
really scary mode. Really scary. So I realized the first time I got scammed, I probably shouldn't have done that. And thankfully there have been no repercussions because before I realized it was a scam, she had my phone number.
No.
Or they had my phone number, and
Right.
so we could text instead of email because it was easier for her. And then she has my street address because I gave her the address where to send the check.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
But that was before I was smart, and it was after I did that when I started going, "Wait a minute, this doesn't feel right." And it wasn't like 2 hours after I started getting these red flag feelings that she wrote and said, "Oh, my social worker sent too much money. I need you to send me back the difference." I was like, okay, now I know. And
But-
gosh darn it, I thought I had a really good sale too.
What I told my daughter, I said, if you ever get the call from the IRS again, just tell them, "Oh no, You better get off the phone and call your attorney.
The police are going to be coming to my house. Okay, I'll put on a fresh pot of coffee.
So that's what the address on my about page, not my house.
Yeah,
It's my buddy's house,
yeah.
and he's a cop.
So
So
Chris
go
is going
ahead.
to show up at your buddy's house.
Yeah.
Let them go ahead. He has those little pew pew things sitting around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've only got my hunting rifles, so
You know, we had hired somebody to do some work here, and I thought I had vetted him pretty good through his Facebook page before I hired him to do some work. He just really seemed like a nice kid. And then when he got here to start the work, one of my sons showed up, and my son was like, "Mom, I got a bad feeling about this guy. You shouldn't have him work here." And it's like, I think he's okay. You know, I checked this, I checked that. And my son's like, "Nope, you watch."
I'm good at getting the creep vibe.
And
Mhm.
he did some work. He did some work the first day, and it went good. And worked like a rabbit all around the farm. Second day, he brought 3 friends to help him. And it was like, oh, does anybody else hear the banjos and got that really weird feeling?
Yeah.
Because that was pretty bad. And now they're all on my property. And then he needed a dependable vehicle, and we had one to sell. And we told him you could just work on the farm to pay it off. So we wrote up a bill of sale. He was supposed to do all these things. And he said, "Do you think you could pay me a little bit in cash so I can get the heater fixed and get some gas in it?" Sure. So I don't know what I gave him, $75 or something. And he called later that night and he says, "I just wanted to let you know I won't be coming to the farm to work tomorrow." He got arrested as soon as he left here.
Wow.
He got arrested. He had a suspended driver's license, so he didn't have a driver's license that was valid. I don't know if he had a warrant out for his arrest at that time, but he took that money that I gave him and he went and bought some meth. So he got pulled over with the meth, which the truck is still in our name.
Yeah.
So now I have to worry about,
You have to go to the DMV and get it removed because
well,
I sold a car to a dealer or traded in a car to a dealer and they did not process it. That car got stolen from the dealership and then was in a horrific accident and ended up at a towing place. I get this bill from the towing place. "We are going to take action on you if you don't pay this bill," over like $3,000. And I was like, okay. I called the place right away and they didn't even know it was stolen.
well, we gave him possession of the vehicle like on a Friday and he calls me like on a Saturday.
Right.
So I couldn't even but as soon as I was able to, my son and I, we went up to the sheriff's department. We wrote out this big statement because when he was arrested, he said, "Oh, that's not mine." Well, then that puts it back on us for a whole bunch of meth.
Mhm.
And so we had to straighten that out. Well, then after that, I started getting phone calls from his friends.
Mm.
And the one lady that was missing quite a few teeth would call me and say, "Is my husband there, Alicia?
Oh, wow.
The last number on his phone is to you." Well, it was that kid using that guy's phone to tell me he's being arrested.
Mm.
And so it got so creepy that now I've got these meth heads that know where I live. I
Yeah.
had to call the sheriff out, and the sheriff looks at the names on what I had written down. He goes, "Oh yeah, I know all of these guys. I know them all." And he says, "You'd be smart to make sure you've got something ready at all times." So I did. Sat here for months with it by my
Yeah.
side. And it's
Yep.
like,
See, and this one you cannot do that.
no, in your own home even?
No.
no, not
If
here.
someone enter my home and I'm even put a finger on him, he can sue me and I can go to jail.
Wow.
Even if he want to rob me.
It's kind of getting that way in these
It's getting that way.
in Oregon and Washington especially, where
If somebody breaks into my house, I can defend my home,
right.
and
I can do that
we had
only if
somebody
it's
live
life
to
or
go-
death situation.
Right.
Oh,
It'll be a
Yes.
life or death situation.
it'll be a death because
Yeah.
I have the means to deal with
Yeah,
it,
me
but
too.
it a lot
Hello,
of people
Donna.
don't up here.
And mine's ready to go. Just
I'll tell you
Yeah.
something funny the other day because I've shared with you some of my mishaps before,
Just
Like-
a few.
like trying to turn the safety off and the clip falls on the ground. But the other day, the dogs were out in the yard, and Harley's blind, so if he gets too close to going down into the ditch and going up into the road on the other side, I've got just a little BB pew pew here. And I'll shoot. I've got a metal sign out there, and I'll shoot it, and it'll startle him, and he'll turn around and come back this way. So I was standing on the deck the other day, and I thought I'm just going to plink that tree that he's standing next to. And so I took aim, and I don't know what happened, but that BB hit the post on the deck and came back and hit me in the chest.
oh my goodness.
It's like, oh,
By the way, the best thing I can do to protect my home is have a big dog and a big sign that I have a big dog outside. If he come in and the dog bit him, I don't have any problem because I got the sign.
now see here, it doesn't matter if you've got the sign. If somebody comes onto my property, even though if I have a no trespass and my dog bites them, I'm going to be in trouble.
Right. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had the UPS guy here one day and the dogs were running around and goes, I don't trust your dogs. I said, they wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah.
These dogs, they're so good. They just want to play. And just then a squirrel comes running across the yard with the two dogs chasing it. And they run in between me and the UPS guy in full on pursuit. They get the squirrel and it's screaming and they kill it right in front of it. And I just said, my dogs are so sweet. And he goes,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm getting in my truck and I'm leaving.
I thought it was interesting the other yesterday when the surveyor was here. Not surveyor, the guy that was checking out my land. The guy was walking in the backyard, and this dog, which is a black lab over here, never would even bark at anybody. Just went ballistic because the stranger was in the backyard. I'm like, okay, I like that.
Guys, I gotta go. You know who just showed up in my other live that I'm modding for?
Okay.
Gotta go.
Bye.
Right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
All right, guys, you've seen me shifting here in my seat quite a bit. I've got that compressed disc that's really starting to act up. So
Yeah,
I should
know the
probably
feeling.
call it a day as well and stretch a little bit because I'm starting to be in quite a bit of pain. So,
Yeah.
but thank you guys for joining me for coffee this morning. I really appreciate it. I had a good time. And
Thank
as
you.
somebody said earlier, our conversation just kind of went all over the board today,
Yeah.
but it was a good
It's kind
conversation.
of fun though.
Yeah.
Yossi, I hope you feel better.
Yeah.
And that you're
Thank
up and
you.
right as rain soon. And Dale, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And Laura, congratulations on the whole deal there with your home. I'm very excited for you because I know that you've been waiting for that.
Yeah.
So very
So we're
happy.
just gonna pray it all the way through because the appraisal is kind of a big key here.
Yes.
Mhm.
I know
I
everything's
understand
sound with my house. It's the appraisal that because prices are so volatile right now.
Right. Yeah, I've been
So-
there. I get that one. So,
Mhm.
all right, guys, I hope to see you tonight with Courtney. I have no idea what I'm in for. So
It's gonna be fun.
it'll
That's
be
gonna- I
fun.
can
I'll do my
guarantee you.
hair. I'll look much better than this. I'll look better than Grandma Santa Claus here. So
Oh, you look great always.
goodbye, Blue Farm. Thank you for joining. Goodbye, Chris. Layer all.
That's Nikki from Blue Farms.
Yeah.
Nikki. I will try to remember that. Nikki, female, male, KKI or
Female.
CKY?
Female. She
Female.
got a
I-
very cute kids.
I
Yeah.
just joined her. I saw her somewhere and I saw that blue farmhouse. I said, I got to go over and say hello and join. And I've only gotten through part of a video because it was just last night. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting to know Nikki a little bit better and see if the name sticks. I'll forget
She's
by
a
next
good lady. And Alicia's a good lady too. So I think we need to point out the good people in our community so people know.
Mm,
Good people over here.
See, I got one down and over.
Yes, there we go.
All right, guys. I hope
All
to see you
right.
tonight. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe and nice and warm. And you'll see feel better soon.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you. You
Okay.
too.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you later.